Good morning and welcome to today's live show. We are hopping on just a little bit early to watch some of the GME AMC stuff and then pay attention to the data that comes out right after the open. We have a lot going on today, so make sure you tune in for the last bit of this video because we're going to give you a little 15-minute breakdown of every single stock that we cover on this channel, doing some technical analysis for the SPY Qs, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Nvidia, AMD, and Meta going forward. It's going to be a big day, going to be a big week. Lot of rocks in the stream. We have to remember the main thing. It's very simple about this channel. We trade like water, meaning we are very adaptable. We're always paying attention to our signals, and we are always paying attention to how we can get screwed in this market. All right, big point there. Now, we did very well calling the bottom here, and the reason that I have the futures up is because if you were tuned in for the live show towards the close, you saw me pulling up the futures. People think I don't pay attention to futures. I do. I just don't use it for trade setups most of the time. Okay, what do we notice here? A 2-hour, almost triple divergence actually. Triple divergence on the 2-hour here, telling you at these lows, which this was right by that daily expected move on Friday. Boom, rocket up. We called it very well. Good job to all of us. Congratulations out there, and thank you guys for subscribing. Appreciate it. Make sure to like the stream as you come in. Now, there's a lot going on today, and we're seeing some upward pressure already. So the post market's still taking us just a little bit higher, and that's kind of to be expected. Now, something to pay attention to this morning is going to be the fact that we get data. And this data comes out around 9 a.m., 8:45, 9 a.m. So that will be about 30 minutes after the open, and that is during the retail hour. So this could play out in a few different ways. Let's go over to the SPY so we can start doing some analysis here for you. And I just wanted to show you guys a 15-minute real quick, okay? We're going to go on a 15-minute because we get data today. We have to be able to react. This thing is cooked. It is getting cooked and cooked and cooked. And I want you to keep this in mind. This is very up. Yes, it's going positive. It can continue to go positive. We can continue to squeeze, but that's going to be dependent on data, and it's going to be dependent on AMC and GME not just crashing the market, okay? So we have to pay attention to that as well, okay? I told you guys multiple times AMC and GME, the potential is there. I said right now I don't see why people are bearish at all on GME. It's positive on a 30-minute. It went positive on a 2-hour, and it's positive with a pullback on the daily scale. So it really did make sense, but you never know the right timing, right? So you just let your signals give you the times where it is most probable to happen. GME was very probable to happen after pretty much Thursday. We were talking about GME saying this isn't dead over and over. We were just saying this isn't dead over and over and over because everyone in the media is telling you it's dead. Now, this data here is supposed to come in just a little bit higher and people could react to that, okay? So we want to pay attention to maybe something else that could go on here. Possible higher low, I think, could happen as of today. If we open up and we just start to hit this daily expected move, I think we could start to see that pullback right away. And we want to pay attention to some kind of shape like this, right? Left, head, right shoulder. Maybe we just pop up first thing in the morning, drop off, okay? We'll pay attention to that. If something is escalating out there, XLU is going to tell us. And XLU, it's just ripping. It's just ripping higher and higher. Now, this will eventually get some kind of pullback, so we have to pay attention to that. Let me delete some of these drawings from the video yesterday. So we have to pay attention to that, but XLU has really helped us out. So if XLU bases out at any time, as of right now, if the SPY continues to follow that and nothing with GME or AMC actually does crash the market, then that would be kind of a hint that we're going to head up from here. We're going to be paying attention to the dollar as well. But just note that if GME and AMC, if the market doesn't, if pretty much it's like if GME and AMC pop and it's popping pretty good, but Nvidia does not drop, which, oh my God, it really looks like we could set up this simple 2-hour divergence above this 1,140. The exact weekly expected move is over on Patreon. That could be a big sell signal, okay? Now, I'm one of the only people who will also, give you a course and show you this stuff live. And I actually had someone, message me, and they were pretty much like they've been studying my videos. They've watched probably over 100 of them. They've spent hours and hours burning it into their brain. And then they were like, okay, cool. I think I know everything. And I thought that was very cool. So the point of someone like that taking the course, which is only $100, I hope that that's updated. But the point of that is it gives you clarity, and it's more simple, and it'll be quicker. So you don't have to watch 100 videos to get the strategies that I'm doing, the strategy that I'm giving, an understanding of these indicators. You can get it a lot quicker by just taking the course. Okay, the course is very simple. It's cut and dry. This is what you look for, exactly what it is. In the videos, you have to read into it. You have to take notes about it. You have to keep watching. You have to do it. But in the course, it's a lot more simple. This here could be something simple in the course, would really help you out with Nvidia this week. We'll pay attention to this, but just know I think some funkiness is going to go on with this stock. And so I was going to show maybe live how difficult this can be to trade, maybe just trading like 2 contracts back and forth. But we'll pay attention to that going forward. So my volatility trade is doing very, very well. It is dropping off. Now volatility is seeing a bounce, but because the SPY is dropping off, my volatility play is looking pretty good out there. Last thing I need to do, I might just update the description real quick, but how's everyone doing this morning? I hope everyone's doing solid. Not liquid. That's the big thing. Not liquid. Solid. I guess liquid, some hedge funds might have to be liquid soon. We extended this until we'll say Friday, but it's pretty much, I'm pretty much going to make I think all this is going to play out. I think this is going to be the course being $100. I think I'm going to extend that for all of June, just so you do know. But the sooner you get it, the sooner you can start to find those setups. It'll be very, very helpful. All right, I'm going to switch over to my other YouTube. I'm just getting fully set up, so we're ready for the day. We might have to bounce around, look at a lot of stuff. So I'm making sure to have all my charts up and do everything diligently. Okay, let me talk to you guys in the chat. Yo, good morning, GME. Yeah, GME. Let's go over to those real quick. So this is the setup that we're kind of looking for right now. Remember, if Nvidia crashes, if Nvidia gets a big, big pullback, that is when the pump in AMC and GME is pretty real. But if that turns back up, it could be because they are taking profit, right? They are going to take money away from Nvidia to put it into their positions for AMC and GME. They have to pay back a lot. That is the most likely scenario that I see playing out. And we're seeing the same signal on AMD and stuff like that. So as we go over to AMC, this one not looking as strong, but notice it is running, okay? That's the important part. It is running. So the same problem can happen here. You're not looking for 100,000 retail traders to pump the stock to 600 or whatever. You're not looking for that even with GME. This is where the government, when they interviewed Roaring Kitty, they were incorrect. They were trying to say that retail traders are the reason that this pumped up to $400. That's actually not correct. And yes, the premium on the calls went up last week. So I was glad I rolled my position again because I was trading in and out, but I rolled one position over. So I'm glad I rolled that position because that would have been expensive as of Thursday and Friday. But the big thing here that the Congress in that interview got wrong is retail traders did not cause the stock to go. They did not buy enough for the stock to go to 400 and whatever dollars. That's not what happened. It is actually the short sellers who have to buy the stock back that forced it to go to 400 something dollars. That is important to understand. From a even legal standpoint, you as a retail trader are not the reason that this went to $400. You did due diligence. You thought the stock was cheap, and there you go. And you saw that there was short seller behavior. The short sellers buying the stock back is what is going to cause the big, big pump. And it is their fault that the stock has to get pumped. It is their fault. Remember that. Very important. Now, talking about here for GME, the first thing is, well, let's do it kind of backwards. Let's do the 30-minute. Remember, this was positive. Positive territory. Great stuff here. Means positive trend is here. There you go. There's the big move. And it's outside of the weekly expected move. If you want the weekly expected moves for GME, those are down in the Patreon. You are well outside of it, which is what we were talking about. The ranges overall, they produce what the options market expects. A big short squeeze like this would be unexpected by the market. Now, the second thing is the 2-hour here was able to go positive. That is another good sign. That is another good sign. Very, very good. Okay, awesome. Now, the next one would be the daily. The daily one here, sure, it's in a pullback, but it's still up here in the positive area, so that's going to be a good thing for the stock. This is overall a pullback. This is why we were saying it's not dead. It has to cross the center line to be dead. For you to even talk about this being dead, it has to be down here. Okay, so that's all you need to know. Literally, it's that simple. You think it continues to move up on the, like, say, Qs? We can kind of bounce through a little bit and just say what's going on here. The Qs are already out of a daily expected move very early on in the day. Remember, when you make those moves very early on in the day, sure, we can squeeze, but just know it's retail hour. They need to rip money away from people as much as possible in order to pay for some of the crap they're doing over at AMC and GME, okay? So what's happening here is you're gapping up. Yes, you can gap and go, but do not forget that this range right here has a 68% chance for a drop. 68% chance you land back in this zone by the end of the day. So maybe it is we pump for a little bit, but then we get some data and that pulls all the way back down and then it does something like this. I think that that would be possible, but I would think either that or we may even go test the weekly expected move. That can still happen, right? If you're watching my videos, it just means to be aware of multiple scenarios. Who says that the data for the next 2 days isn't horrible and we do this, and then we do this, and then we have an actual divergence down here on a 15-minute? Anything can happen, and that's why we have to be very careful in the market. So Landon, you were emailing me about swing trading, right? Pretty much swing trading, right? Pretty sure that was you. By the way, Lucas, I was able to purchase the course using the PayPal. Awesome, DeBooster. Tell me what you think. Remember, it's just for you guys who have been here a long time, the course will seem like, oh, I remember him saying this, I remember him saying this, but it's to bring clarity. It's to bring clarity to it, and this is exactly what you need to look for. So, yes, okay, so if you're planning on doing this, someone was asking about a swing trade, okay? Now, we haven't put swing trading on the course. I believe that the thing that I put on the course, the understanding of the indicators and the strategy that I give you and the weekly ranges, understanding those as well, all of that is way more valuable. And I'm telling you right now, if you understand all of that info, swing trading will be like cupcake work to you. It will be. If you can understand what is in the course, or if you watch 100 of my videos and you're able to start to understand what I'm doing here, then you will be able to understand swing trading. Okay, so swing trading would be, you make a move, you're above the 200, you make a move above the 5, and that crosses up. Okay, crosses up on the MACD, that's an overall confirmation. Now you're seeing the move up. So a swing trader would overall say, if this crosses up on this MACD, I'm going to be in. So you could say that could escalate things. I'm just saying that the point we are at right now, usually a swing trader does like V-shape recovery, but they will be in it earlier if they see V-shape. They would not be in it all the way up here outside of a daily expected move. Now, you still can run, but from a risk to reward perspective for the entire day, this is as high up as the Qs is supposed to get for the whole day. And what is stopping it from getting some kind of pullback before heading higher? So what I would overall do, even as a swing trader, use the information from the course, use the information I give on YouTube. All you have to do is say, well, I'm looking at this 2 hour. Yeah, I can see a big run, but what's the 15-minute look like? Oh, it's starting to get cooked. Now, the Qs aren't as cooked, but if you look at the SPY, that thing is massive, and it's still within the range. So I think you got a good shot to come up like this and then drop off, and then you might say, okay, this is a better entry. Now that 2 hour can cross. So it's pretty much like the 2 hour hasn't crossed yet, so your confirmation of the swing trade isn't really there. Does that make sense, Landon? And if you do take the swing trade here, you would more so rather want to see like this and this and this, because this part right here would allow this MACD to start to get close like this, right? It would move a little bit more sideways, not dip down so far. It would be like going like this, and then you'd have time with you. And then right here, you would maybe see that cross. So do you see how that would be the better swing trade? When you really start to look at stocks, guys, you have to think about your trading like this. Is this a clear and easy setup to make money? Is this a clear and easy setup to make money? A lot of people were actually asking me why I didn't take the SPY here. Why I didn't take the SPY here. Why did I not take the SPY even though I could have made more money? The SPY was not a clear setup. Sure, it was on the futures, but I don't trust the futures enough. I can read into it, but is this one of my setups? No, it's not. This isn't. It's just not. So it's not clear. Now, what was the more clear setup to me? It was volatility. Volatility looked like the very clear setup, doesn't it? Look at this, quadruple divergence down, quadruple divergence to the way up, crosses on the MACD, falls off. It's much more clear. Now, I make less money with this trade, but at least it is more clear and I can be very confident in the trade, and now I can manage my risk and be perfectly fine in this overall move. So what do I think is coming for volatility, by the way? and why I think also if this sets up, then the SPY is most likely going to pull back, is if we can drop down again on volatility, make a divergence. I think that would be good. Okay, so pretty much if you see a divergence here, I would say be a little bit patient on swing trading. But you never know in this market right now. I mean, look at that rigged move the other day. That's why I'm trying to say, like, oh, I want to pay attention to XLU as much as possible. But this thing is, you know, the SPY is pretty much like here. XLU's up here. So you would say if it's going to follow XLU exactly, then I think the SPY does go right up to this daily expected move this morning. And then we see bad data and that rips down. But do you see how I just formulate the scenario in my head and then I go, okay, if this happens, I will react. And I'm thinking of that, I'm reacting, I'm thinking of the scenarios for taking profit. I'm not thinking of taking a trade. I'm thinking of it for taking profit. I'm not going to overtrade. This will be a great winning trade. If I overtrade and this just does this and I expect it to do this and I can lose money because it just goes like that, then that's overtrading. I want to wait till the next signal is very, very clear. Good morning. Good morning. Let's keep popping through here. Apple, what did I say? Well, it looked like that we were going to see a push up for Apple. I wanted to wait for this is not clear, right? None of this was clear. Even on the 30-minute, you could argue this is clear, but look how thin it is. That's why I like big waves. Big waves. They really help. Okay, like this one. Big wave up, big wave up. Okay, it's a little bit spread out, but it's there. Okay, so wait till it's very, very clear. Yeah, I had a little bit of a hard time sleeping, but that's also because I have a baby girl. But so it looks like we could curl up on a 2-hour, but is this going to be the most clear signal? This is where sometimes I have to look at a different chart. Okay, I have to look at a different chart because this doesn't look the most clear. This one did. This one looked very clear. And then it popped back up and it got a rejection. If I wanted to scale in towards that weekly expected move, okay. Around that week, the weekly expected move was right up in this area. Okay, we went outside that, boom. Falls back down. Awesome. And then what do? I take profit because the market's rigged. Look, it wasn't able to go negative, take profit. Okay, awesome. So this wouldn't be the most clear signal. I think your most clear signal for Apple is going to be a 4-hour divergence. You can just see it up there. If that just pops up really high and then drops off. But you got to wait till that forms. A 4-hour divergence takes a little bit of time to form. Tesla, we're just running through the stocks real quick, by the way. On the 2-hour, this one could be clear. It could be a little bit more clear, but right now it's not, and that's why I say this is the most wonky one. I personally will not be trading Tesla this week because this just looks like trash to me. Everything is wonky. Everything has a stutter in it. Nothing is smooth. Everything's choppy. It's just not good. And if I go into a 30-minute, yeah, I could see a 30-minute divergence here, but it's just. Look at this price action. It's like that's the best divergence you got, and you got like a little pullback. It's just not the best thing, best look for right now. And this is a very important thing. I'm not going to sit here and make up analogy and make up a situation, make up anything. I still think this goes above its weekly expected move and then sells off. But a million different things could happen with Tesla. What if they just use Tesla to pay for everything? Because Tesla has a big implied volatility. So when the signals are not clear, I just say, screw that stock for a while. Let's go look at a different one. Let's look at Amazon. Ooh, this one. Remember, risk management really saved me here. All right, triple divergence. Played out to the upside very quickly. And risk management told me to get out. So we should not even be anywhere near this. But the 30-minute, you notice, is very negative. So we do have the potential to see some kind of pop, drop off, maybe get a stronger base for Amazon here. As far as Amazon goes, weekly expected move, I think we set up a lower high. Nvidia, this one, we just want to pay attention. 30-minute, first of all, 30-minute can be a good hint, especially if you're looking for a 2-hour divergence to roll over, right? If we do something like this and you see that 30-minute divergence, that would be a very, very good thing. But Nvidia has been very, very hard to short. I was going to try to do it live. That way you guys could see just how complicated it is, how much you have to stay risk managed. AMC are pumping. Yeah, AMC and GME, not GMC, but GME. Close enough, Marina. But yeah, Nvidia, so that's what I would look for. I think that because we're deep down in this area, we could see another signal kind of like this one where it just kind of gets that big push, maybe comes down, gets another push, and then we see a little divergence there. Now, that doesn't have to happen, right? I'm just aware that that's the main signal I'm looking for because I have a 2-hour that could form a divergence too. So if I see this 2-hour divergence forming and I see that 30-minute divergence while the 2-hour divergence hasn't completed yet, that'd be a good hint. That'd be a good hint. AMD, I think this one's simple. I think we go outside the weekly expected move. We make a divergence, and this thing's game over for this. But it can be way more complicated than that. The only reason I'm pretty confident in saying that is you have triple divergence right by the center line. If it does form, right? If we see that pop up, you could have a triple divergence. But don't think that they can't make it wonky for a while. So remember what we say in the course is really going to matter about timing. We talk about timing in the last video. Like and subscribe. Morning. Can you do SMCI? Yeah, we'll get there. It is down on the list a little bit. This one here, Meta, right? We can still pop up, but does Meta look like the best setup in the world? Like, does it? I mean, if it creates a simple divergence here, yeah, sure, it looks pretty good, but it just looks like a bunch of chop, kind of like Tesla. Now, the reason Meta and AMD and Tesla are a little bit scary, they're all close to the center line or in negative territory as Meta is. So Meta can see some big weakness here, negative territory, bad things can happen. Microsoft, this one, I think you got a good shot at a setup here. Now, the daily has crossed over. I am not trading this to the upside. I am looking for the trap to the upside pretty much. So I think we have a good shot if this is going to happen quickly to make that 2-hour divergence right now with this point right here. So these little points right here, I think we have a good shot to just make a little high here, or maybe the weekly expected move is a little sooner than I think, and we just get a lower high. I have to pay attention anytime this 2-hour rolls back over. That means that there could be weakness in the stock. All right, going over to Google. Google, similar thing, right? Similar thing. It looks like a pretty good tapering kind of flag here. We break out. Maybe we touch the trend line between the most recent highs, and then that starts to fall down. So something for Google you probably could look at is like a 4-hour. See, this one just looks kind of wonky too. All of them look like just a little wonky. I wonder if we could get this daily to roll up to give us that daily divergence. We'll see, but 30 minutes. So the best case scenario here with those wonky divergences, they're still divergence. It's just they're not the clearest. Is we do something like this. That would be very cool. 30-minute divergence outside of the weekly expected move there for Google would be nice this week. And then I'm going to take out a longer position. 10, 9, YLT time yet. Miles, say that again. I don't know if I read that right. I bought GME last night and I'm in the red. Yeah. If you're someone who's going to freak out about being in the red when it comes to GME and AMC, you know, I would highly encourage you to just be like, hey, I'm going to not look at my computer, because do you guys know what happened last time? Last time it skyrocketed up to like $120, and then Robinhood took off the buy button, and then it went all the way back down to like $40, and then all the people who got out down here, literally like 2 days later, it was at $400 or something like that in the post market. So GME, it's unknown. It could be unlimited. So the reason that it could be unlimited now is so the reason it could be unlimited, I want you guys to understand, did you guys see the Roaring Kitty trade? Did you guys, and this is why I'm going to explain how it could be unlimited, but truly my points for it are 420 just because, and then 1,000 or 420, 700, 1,000, and the highest it could go, because I calculated it in using that other one, I think is $30,000. But I would be very, that's just something to say. That's just something to say. Pay attention to the signals. That's all I'm going to say. But did you guys see the actual, did you guys see the actual contracts that Roaring Kitty bought? He has the stock, but he also has contracts, call contracts at $20. Do you guys know? Did you guys see? Hopefully everyone saw that, right? I want to tell you why that's so smart. I want to tell you why that's insanely smart. Impossible to be in the red if you bought last night. Oh yeah, kind of facts actually. Yeah, it was well, I think doesn't it depend on what platform. Depends on what platform. You need to understand why he was so smart with this. So his call contracts are at, I think it was what, $20? I think it was $20. So here's the reason that this is insanely smart. He's holding the stock and he has call contracts. If he executes those contracts, if you like think about if he executes the contracts, does anyone know what happens if he executes those contracts? He has $65 million worth of contracts, I think. So do you guys know what happens if he executes those contracts at $20? I want to see if anyone knows. Come on, someone's got to have done some research. Someone has to know. I put this together within like minutes. I was like, this is an insanely smart play. Owns the stock. Yes. Okay. That's a key part. In the money, owns the stock. Does he have enough money to do that? Yes. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Yes. Okay. The price will drop. No. If he executes the contract, he now owns the stock. So do you understand why that is so important? So if he executes the contract, now if any short sellers have sold him that contract, they have to go find shares because they have to have shares to give him in that contract. Do you understand what I'm saying? If the short sellers have any of his contracts, they are screwed because he has so fucking many of them and they sold it to him and they have to go now find shares in order to sell in order to sell the shares back to him. Because it's a contract, right? It's freaking crazy. Like, I don't know when he would execute that contract. I think he'll wait a little bit, but it is one of the smartest ways to almost like guarantee that this happens. Don't you think trading indices is less risky? I would say investing in indices after a crash when if there's like weekly divergence or monthly crossover is very, very less risky. Yes. But I would also say this, is this that risky for me? I have traded probably hundreds of thousands of dollars in my life. I have traded hundreds of thousands of dollars in the indices in my life. In this trade right here, I've traded $3,000. Which one sounds riskier? Stumble Pro, which one sounds riskier to you? Risking $3,000 for a month to see if you could make, 10 times or whatever, or spending hundreds of thousands of dollars trading multiple trades for years at a time in the indices, which we know now is rigged. That's the thing we caught on Friday. So now that I know the market's even more rigged than before, I'm actually doing a little bit better. But still, I would say risking hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's Stumble Pro. That's what we've overall been talking about on this channel, is like the risk to reward perspective argument here is alone good enough for GME and AMC. Now, does it mean to risk $200,000? No, I'm not doing that. I'm not Roaring Kitty. I'm not the guy running the movement. I have a 4-month-old baby girl. I have a wife to take care of. We're building slowly. I always encourage the slow way is the fast way in the market. I still always encourage that. But I see an opportunity for growth. It's kind of like when everyone was calling you stupid for buying Bitcoin at $100 or even $1. It's the same thing. The risk to reward was there. It's $1,000. What's the worst I'm going to lose? Yeah. I have $500 in AMC, one call option, and some shares just to see what happens. It's not much, but we shall see. Exactly. It's not much. That's what you do. That's what you do. Because this does have the opportunity to go to infinity. Why? Because if the short sellers naked shorted this as much as it says they have, and it's proven, then they will have to continue to buy the stock. And it will be just, you can lose money forever. That's the bad part about short selling. The short selling, if the stock just keeps going up, keeps going up, keeps going up, they lose more and more money. At least on the other side, there's a little number called zero. There's a number called zero, right? So you can only lose money down to zero. This has infinity. So do I think it goes infinite? Probably not. I'm still going to pay attention to the signals. So most likely what happens, because you know that the stock market is rigged, right? Most likely all of government is rigged. And that's whether you love him or hate him, Donald Trump, he should not be convicted of a felony. If anything, he had like one misdemeanor. That is the truth. And Bill Clinton literally did hush money payment live on TV, and the lady waved the check in front of an audience. It was creepy. Or at least that's what I think happened. I don't really remember. But anyway, what I'm saying about that isn't anything to do with who you're voting for, isn't anything to do with politics. Isn't anything to do with politics. It has to do with this. That is rigged. How do you know that that is rigged? Because Nancy Pelosi. Because of all of these people who are supposed to only get paid like $120,000 a year somehow end up worth $50 million after 10 years. So you know something is rigged there too. And most likely that is leaked into government. Pretty much it's like, I'm a big studier of psychology. And so if one aspect of your life you are negative on, it can make other aspects of your life negative on. And then that will start to escalate. So what I'm getting at here is if we bring psychology into play, if we now know that the market is rigged, then we could say, well, then if the market is rigged, then why isn't the data rigged? And if the data is rigged, then most of the people that are controlling the data most likely are rigging something as well. And if everyone who's rigging the data is rigged, then most likely the people who are in control of the country who pay these people are rigged as well. So you can just start to escalate it. But nothing will, most likely nothing will happen to them. Just so you know, most likely they will get bailed out and they will blame retail traders. Okay, let's pop around and look at some different stuff though, guys. Anyone else call off today? You guys called off. Thank you guys so much for liking, by the way, and subscribing. Just know, you guys, every single time you like and every single subscriber that we get, every single like that you give to the video, I'm one step closer to stop working for that startup. And I can dedicate more time to YouTube, which just means more live streams at the end of the day, more closing streams. I'm going to try to do closing streams all week this week. It's probably going to be very difficult, but I'm going to try. Okay, so smash that like button for me. I'd really appreciate it. Gold here does have a 30-minute divergence. I think it actually has a little 2-hour. You see this 2-hour divergence. So gold actually could see a pop here. This can roll up a daily chart. Daily chart can roll up. All right, what could happen here? What if we make that little point of divergence? Don't think that in a crash, everything, gold or something else can't go down. Actually, in a lot of crashes, gold has tanked down, and that's perfectly fine. It just means gold's cheaper, and I would encourage you to buy the actual physical asset and just hold on to that. What's in your course? Everything that we talk about here, June, it's just more clear. So if June, you've been here for a while, so you might understand the course better. It's just very clear and concise of like exactly what everything I talk about on YouTube is. On YouTube, I go very, very fast. I don't focus on the MACD too long. I'm just like, there's divergence, crosses down, negative territory. But in the course, you get to hear like that slowed down, okay, if you've been here for a while. Now, if you haven't been here for a while and some of this stuff is hard to understand, it means you don't have to watch 100 YouTube videos in order to understand what I'm saying. You can watch it in a day or two, and then you can start trading with those strategies or practicing those strategies. So now another thing that we talked about was Bitcoin. Let's look around. Okay, Bitcoin, look at that. Able to confirm. This is what we posted over the weekend on Patreon. We posted the 2-hour because it was closer, but look at that. The 4-hour was able to rotate up. Now, there could be pullbacks for retests and all that good stuff. Okay, guys, there could be pullbacks for retests. The 2-hour is starting to get cooked. This could retest. This could be a fake out. So you want to pay attention to how you can get screwed. Price target for AMC, GME, it is so hard to make a price target, but we do have the weekly ranges, and right now you're outside of them. So it would say if they are going to fight the stock and we are not going to see a squeeze, then AMC and GME need to drop from here. But AMC needs to hold above $5. I would say AMC, if it can hold above $6, that would be great. But if it breaks through $7.39, then you just might start to squeeze. I think once it breaks $7.39, the game is on. My first target for AMC is about $22. $22. My ultimate target for AMC is going to be somewhere around right in between $400 to $500 is where I think that AMC has a very good potential of getting from a high price point stand. We have to see if they fight it at $40. So 22, 40, 100, 400 is pretty much what I'm looking at. Yeah, Miles, you got the course, and I think you took it like after just watching a few YouTube videos, and I think that's good. If you don't have money, then really pay attention, save up money, watch YouTube for 100 days, and you'll really start to get the hang of what I'm saying. But if you want to learn that stuff right now and start using that in your trading, if you're really needing to turn things around or really need to learn things quickly, you want to get started quickly, you don't want to wait 100 days, there you go. There you go. Like, it literally will teach it to you in 2 days. You could probably even do it in a day. Let's go look around at SMCI. We were asked about SMCI. 2-hour curls up, going to be a good thing. So it went down back into our buy zone. Okay, that's an important thing. Now, this is pretty deep. So the potential to do something like this, I don't know if that's going to happen. We have to see how the 30-minute wants to play out, but this is a sell zone, so I suspect we're going to do something like this. I really do. How do I access the course? You just log in with your info. You just log in. So you just go to Teachable, hit login, and then it'll say like you go under your courses. You should say like my courses or something like that, and my course should be up on there. Found you late after the 1,000 videos. Yeah, I made a lot of content, and a lot of people think I'm crazy for saying all of my stuff on YouTube, but I say it very quickly. If you want to learn it a little bit quicker, if you've been here for a while, it will make things more clear if it still confuses you. But if you kind of think you understand it very, very well and it is working for you already without my info, then the Patreon is most likely the best thing for you, right? Because then you're just going to see trade setups that I like, which was IWM. Let's go look at IWM for a second and see how our trade setup's going. Looks great. Looks fantastic. Looks great. Bam. Look at that. So this is what we posted to Patreon. The weekly expected move was right here. It was a little higher than that, actually. I'm just terrible at drawing. It was about right here. And we just noticed this. And I said, this is the more likely good play. And I didn't even post the SPY. I didn't post Amazon again because I didn't think it was the best play. I think this was the best play. I scaled in right here, made a little bit of money, pulled back because I'm risk managed. Then we saw a little 5-minute divergence here, pulled back again. Now we're heading back up. So if you're being risk managed here, it actually said there's your next point to go back in according to the course, right? So thank you so much, Paradox, for subscribing. I thought you were already subscribed, Paradox. I feel like you've been here before. Hold on. What did ADHX? Sabrina, I'm adding to my position with my Nvidia gains. Yeah, and that's what you're being the if you're making money out of Nvidia and then you roll around and you put it into AMC and GME, that's exactly what the hedge funds, short sellers, market making companies, all these things. That's what they're doing. Now they're trying to trick people in Nvidia to make as much money as possible. So. We always have unique trading habits, but always wada. I like that. That's great. Yeah, be careful with really with the AMC and GME thing, the call options are going to be very expensive, I think. So at this point, if I'm going to trade AMC and GME back and forth, I'm just going to use the actual full amount of money and buy the stock if I trade it back and forth. But I'm going to keep I think I have about 20 contracts on one of my positions. I'm just going to keep that one the whole time. G-Wave. This one has been talked about a lot. Oh, this is what, see? The little ones are popping. The little ones are popping. The little ones are popping. Now these types, the little ones that are very, very cheap, these can start to fade quickly. Don't think that hedge funds might not be in this to the upside, okay? They were in it to the downside, but the little ones will pop harder first, and then they will sell off, and then they will use that money to most likely suppress AMC and GME. Now, that's why I think Roaring Kitty's position is very smart. If he executes, I think it's game over for the short sellers. I really, really do. If he executes this position, it's game over for the short sellers, and then that will leak over to AMC. If you don't believe AMC moves with GME, it does. It's short sold just as much. But they right now probably feel they could suppress AMC. So AMC is going to be a wild ride. It probably will still print, but right now it's printing. But yeah, that's what we have to really look out for. Let me get through the rest of these. Netflix was one we were looking at. This one seeing a bounce up. This one on the 2-hour could create another point of divergence. You'd get there are great setups that if you feel like, hey, AMC, GME, there's too much risk there. Nvidia, we know that's manipulated to the upside. There's too much risk there. Netflix is a great one to look at. This is a great one to look at. Look at this. Triple divergence, maybe even makes a quadruple. Maybe it creates a 30-minute divergence right here for you to scale in. It is fantastic look to it. There's a lot of great opportunities. I actually converted a lot to I pretty much converted even more into cash. That way I could just like be ready for this week and find a good position on one of these stocks. And Netflix is one of the ones that I'm looking at because it's not as manipulated as Nvidia. But I think Nvidia is the one that's going to see a significant drop if all this plays out. So I'm looking for Nvidia briefly in the morning here. I just wanted to show you guys the data real quick. PMI supposed to come in a little higher. That is at 9 a.m., 8:45. You could start to see that right away because that's the PMI final. And then after that, we get JOLTS job openings. And if it comes in lower, that means less job openings, which means maybe more people have jobs. Okay, that's still inflationary. That can affect the yields as well. People could react negatively to that. Next day, services PMI, that's supposed to tick up. If all of this data starts to come in bad, they're going to blame the data and the market might sell off, but you know the real reason is they're ripping money away from retail with Nvidia to pay for AMC and GME. That's if we see that crash, okay? Now, we haven't made the crash signal. This could extend for some time. We could get a surprise. Even this morning, we could get a surprise to just pop us up and then see that fade back down. XLU not going too much higher as of right now. Let me make sure I got my charts up before the open here. All right, I'm going to just have this up. I'm going to sell my volatility downside position because I see something bad coming. So why wouldn't I mark this as ready to sell, right? I'm going to make more money as of today, as of this morning. I don't need to watch this run up. I can make plenty of money first thing in the morning. I'm already up over 100%. I bought 2K G wave at 0.056 and it went inverse split. How much will my stock be worth? Usually the value holds the same, but usually in a reverse split, you see more of a sell-off. So if it splits and you lose shares, you might see a little bit of a sell-off. At least that's how most of... I try to stay away from the splits too, because that's kind of a... not necessarily black swan. That's just a rock in the stream that I try to stay away from. It's not something that I can control. It's not something that... really, that's just do more people decide to sell it after a split than after, right? That's how I'm looking at Nvidia split too. This could just be a sell the news event, buy the rumor, sell the news. I think splits are kind of like in earnings where it's just like, I don't know what could happen. I got 2K of GME halt yesterday. I woke up to 1K. On, like, you bought 2K of GME last night, like an option, like that. Well, you couldn't buy an option, but at least in the U.S. markets, you couldn't buy an option. But GME is worth pretty much double what it was last night. Yeah, I tried to get that stuff out on Patreon right away. I posted a picture of it right when I saw it. I'm not on Twitter every second of every day. I try to stay away from social media. I think social media is like ruining everyone's brains, to be honest. But when I need it, I use it. That's kind of more how I am with social media. No, just the stock. Yeah, if you bought the stock at $23 or whatever, and you have it right now, then you're technically up. It's physically impossible for you to be down if you just bought the stock. Yeah, yeah, true, Miles. I would say probably going to be whichever one fills first. So whichever one's more likely to fill is what I would do at this point. But just know, like, I've been in the options for a minute now for AMC, and, well, for my dad's in them for GME, right? We kind of split it. He did GME, I did AMC, so he's going to be very happy this morning. But we bought that very early on and rolled the positions. So we're very glad we rolled the positions. But I had him buying right down here. He bought first one here, second one here. So AMC, I have that one, so I'm a little unluckier, but it's fine. AMC will run if it can hold above $5. I think it will run. But his GME contract is doing very, very well. And he also just has the stock. He has both of the stocks. What the hell got 2K more of AMC? How's your view on Microsoft? I think Microsoft most likely lower high starts to fail. I think Microsoft, maybe we see a couple days of positivity and then that fails. Now that's as long as, the way that Roaring Kitty did this is it can affect the market right away. So this literally could be the 30-minute rolls right up, right? It goes up for 30 minutes and then just rolls right back down and it's game over. I think it might be more extended than that. I don't think it'll be that easy. But the way that Roaring Kitty did it, I analyzed it and I was like, wow, if it's dependent if he executes the contracts. But the view of Microsoft right now is you had 2-hour divergences pretty much at these highs, so not necessarily the best setup on the 2-hour. But the big thing to point out here is the daily divergence, okay? It's already confirmed. Now you're looking for that bounce up. How could I get screwed? Well, if the 2-hour crosses up, you just want to wait till that crosses back down. So I think this will happen for Microsoft. I'm just going to be blunt. That's what I think will happen. Doesn't mean it has to. Just pay attention to your signals. We can look at save in a second. They are different, okay? Everything on different platforms is being different. Oh, Spirit. Oh, God. This might be a daily higher low. Ooh, that's not the best look. You did have divergence here that completed. So right here was technically your area that you wanted to go into the trade, right? Timing is a lot of thing, right? Timing is an important thing. I'm sorry. Timing is an important thing. And this is where it's like, if you understand what I'm saying, but you're bad at timing, you can start to look through the course. And I think the course will help you out with your timing. AMC is bouncing. See how it's running? It's fine. And what people are going to do is GME is going to get expensive. And then they're going to say AMC is still cheap. And then that's going to build up over time as well. All of the penny stocks that you're seeing explode, the money could go out of those to go back into AMC and GME, just because if those start to run, and that's what he's tweeting about is GME, most likely a lot of those penny stocks, a lot of them start to sell off and GME starts to run. Now, that's to say that the short sellers are not still buying those penny stocks, but those have been seeing little pops for the last 2 weeks. GME, we pointed out, only has one. That's why I said these are the big dogs. GME and AMC are the big dogs, and you know that because neither of them popped multiple times, right? It was just one pop down. That's it. So I think that's why you're overall seeing that. Like if we go look at Lucy, right? Lucy, I think it was Lucy. What do you see? You see pop, pop, even on a 30-minute chart. And then you see these little rips, right, that are worth 50%. Did we see 50% rips for GME lately? No. Now, this still has potential. 30-minute crosses up, positive territory. What happens? Positive trend. Very good thing. But you see the divergence up here. That leads you to believe this could roll back over. If this 30-minute rolls up and rolls back down, it might be game over for Lucy, and all that money starts to flow into AMC and GME. Good morning, Mark. Good morning. How's BITO doing? Good. How's Coin doing, actually? Coin should be doing pretty good with that Bitcoin pump. Oil, did that drop off? Oil, 30-minute divergence. Not the best to look at. 2-hour? Not the best. Maybe you see a pop and another drop. Not the strongest base. This is where it's like, hey, this isn't the best setup for my strategies, right? Over here was. Over here for US oil was. That was a good setup. This one is not something I'd look at to. I'm looking for a highly probable trade. Good morning, Junior. Oh, yeah, we can look at Exxon. Exxon, that's a good push. Good push at the open here. Just pay attention. We might need a stronger base. Now, there's probably 30-minute divergence down here that led to the 2-hour pop. Now you're looking if this 2-hour can roll back over. If the 30-minute rolls over, that would not be the best time to enter. But if we can get close to the center line, that's pretty much the swing trading comes into play. So if you understand swing trading, you'll be able to get in this move. If there's another upward push, you got to curl back up on this MACD. So looking at the SPY right away, let me just look at my contracts real quick, see if that made enough money for me. Sure. I will take my what is that? 170%. I will take it. Thank you. Now we're pretty damn liquid. Awesome. Great start to the day. Solid 170% gain. My AMC is worth 400%. They're trying to get me to sell it. No, thank you. I am keeping that bad boy. Now I'm going to look for trade setups to the other side. As we look at the SPY, we have to pay attention to 845. Okay, 845. We could see some kind of 15-minute pullback. Okay, this is what I think is the most likely scenario. Maybe we build up in the next 15 minutes or so, and then we see that drop off with that data supposed to come in for the PMI just a little bit higher, and the data's been calling it pretty good, so we'll have to see. HYG, the reason that could sell off, look, HYG sold off. Okay, HYG sold off. Okay, TLT, that thing popped up higher, crossing over MACD, but it's overbought, so we'll have to see what the data says in a moment. Dollar dropping dramatically here. That's to be expected as we're pumping a little bit. Huge solid move outside of the weekly expected move as of right now. As of right now, it's outside of the weekly expected move. Let's go look at AMC and GME real quick. Look at that. It's starting to fade already. There's no news that should cause this to fade. This right here, there's no news. Now, this could be day traders and things like that, so we'll pay attention to that. But overall, if this 15-minute doesn't cross back down on the MACD right here, it's running. I'm holding. Let's go look at Nvidia. I think that one is a good potential setup. Look at that coming up into a resistance here. I thought that just a flat number here would be good for you guys. You see the resistance here, resistance here, resistance here. We pop above it, we give it away. And then we use it as support once. So that's why I marked this off. This is not the weekly expected move. The weekly expected move is actually, I believe, a little bit higher. Let me look at my other charts here. Yeah, weekly expected move is a little bit higher. It's actually above this high right here. So I'm going to leave the Nvidia play up on my left screen because that's the one that I said I would try to play, right? I said I would be the one to try to play it, and I will show you guys how to manage risk in it. AMD not able to curl up just yet. There you go. There's your push. There's your push. Remember the signal we're paying attention to for Nvidia is some kind of big 2-hour move up. We could even get bad data and they just rig it to move up after the retail hour. So we're looking for maybe a minor 15-minute pullback. GME halted, GME frozen. It's going to happen multiple times. That's why I'm like, if you're someone who is afraid of the halts and you're going to cause yourself a lot of emotional stress until this thing actually does hit like $300, it's raining outside for me. I can't go touch grass right now, but go touch grass, go eat some breakfast, come back, look at it again, freak out for a minute, then go away, right? Yeah, I'm in no way thinking that this has to be in one shot. It's going to be a fight. That's why I logged on last night, and I was like, it's going to be a fight to get higher. It's going to be a fight to get higher. Is AMC halted? Let me bring up halts real quick. I can look up the halts real quick. Let's see what's been halted this morning. Why is this not showing? Showing GME. So lame. It's not going to show me that AMC or GME is halted on this website. That's so lame. Here we go. Let the craziness begin. Let the craziness begin. And let me see. Actually. All right. So this is halted right now at $38. AMC is still moving slowly. Looking for a little 5-minute curl down. Maybe it curls right back up. Remember, we can just pay attention. Now that it's moving, we can pay attention to a 5-minute chart. If that remains positive, good sign for the stock. But look at this. We marked off this 96.74 because that's as high as this MACD or this RSI really likes to go. When it sees big pops, that's as high as it likes to go. And so there you go. Now you're getting a reading up towards that. Now we're seeing it fade back down. That's what's most likely going to keep happening. It needs to remain above $5. The stock is definitely getting suppressed right now. AMC or GME opens back up. So this is what we're saying. See the gap down? This is why they will say that halts are good for the retail trader. They are not good for the retail trader. Retail traders cannot sell the stock while a halt is happening because all the trading platforms won't allow you to do it. This is dark pool shorting. This is the short sellers fighting back against GME. So this can be a wild ride. Got 10 minutes until the first little bit of data comes. Now retail might freak out and start selling the stock. And Nvidia holding up pretty good. But XLU dropping off, guys. XLU dropping off pretty significantly. So I'd assume that the market might follow that after the data, just so you know. It's open, but look at the gap. See the gap? They're like, oh, this is a halt so that you can understand what's happening with GME. It's very good for retail traders. That's bullshit. It is rigged. They immediately will apply short positions during the halt. That's what it is for. They will keep suppressing the stock during those halts. You just have to be in the fight until it is all over, until they run out of money. So the fact that there's any buying up here is very good. AMC halted. Now watch, AMC could gap down as well. Let's go Nvidia. Be careful, okay? I want you to be careful at the open for the stock market right now. What are you seeing on the 15-minute scale for XLU? Some kind of pullback could be coming. It's already pulling back early on in the morning. What's happening with HYG? The same signals we paid attention to. HYG dropping off in the morning. So we could see some kind of pullback early on today. Am I going to take a trade because of this info? No, my trade setup's not there. I like to wait for it to be clear. I'm a very patient guy. There you go. Maybe we make a little divergence right here and it's all GGs. We'll pay attention. And I probably have to pay attention a little bit tighter on this one. See if the hourly is curling up. Okay, hourly is curling up. Let me get this up on my other screen here. We'll pull up AMC so we can see on the 5-minute how this most likely will be gapping down. If the short sellers have done some rigged move here, this will gap down just a little bit. They don't want to make it very obvious. They don't want to be like, oh, it gaps down to 448. No, it's going to gap down to like 488 and then sell off a little bit. Could you please explain why you use XLU to determine direction? Is it a leading indicator? Yes, Dawson. Okay, so in every single time, if you need to, go look at the video that says we will crash in the next 30 days that I posted. It will explain XLU. It is utilities. Every single crash that we see, the utility sees a major run-up. That's the key thing. You have to see the major run-up. We pointed that out weeks in advance that we were getting the major run-up. That's when we started talking about the signal. Now the signal has proven the first part of it. You need some kind of divergence. That's what has happened is XLU, utilities, has seen a big run-up, and then it creates a divergence. And what happens with the SPY? The SPY sees a big run-up and has a divergence at the same time. So when that's happening at the same time, Dawson, that's when you can read into it. Does that make more sense? It really matters when things are happening at the same time. Someone tell me when that's unhalted. I got to pay attention to maybe AMD. AMD trying to go to higher levels. What's it doing? Not doing the best. Remember, we could see a pullback here. Nvidia, we could see a pullback here. Maybe see some kind of little 15-minute divergence in the future, but This is a good point to pay attention to. If that 2 hour can roll up, I would say even if the hourly rolls up, I think an hourly divergence would be more clear. Look at that. It's unhalted. Okay, let's see if it gapped down. They don't have to gap it down, but not unhalted on TradingView. Now GME is. GME is, and that's the rigged move right there. You see the gap. This is how you know that it's rigged. How long ago was that video about? It was not this previous Saturday, but the Saturday before. So about 10 days, maybe. 10 days ago. And it should explain it pretty well. And I think I put it right at the beginning of the video, Dawson. I didn't want to waste people's time. Maybe they're taking out stop losses. Yes, so that's what I do. I do not use a stop loss on GME or AMC. I have no stop loss on AMC or GME because AMC or GME actually saw in certain markets, they saw pops like this to take out all the stops, take out the contracts, take out the stops, take out the stops. They did this for like 2 seconds, for like 1 minute, 2 seconds, somewhere in between, very, very short time frame. So that tells me, what are they doing? Well, they're taking out the stops. Okay, you're correct. Very correct there. Rivian, let's look at something that's a little bit different. I like Rivian. I think Rivian cars are very cool. I've been seeing a few of them. They're very cool. 30-minute divergence forming on Rivian right now. So if I was trading this, I would have made a weekly range. I would see if we're outside of that right now. But 30-minute divergence forming, not completed, right? Forming, not confirmed. Very important, but you're starting to creep closer and closer to that center line. So just be a little cautious with Rivian going forward. You can start to roll back over this 2 hour, and the 2 hour, if that rolls over, very close to the center line as well. So just pay attention here. It doesn't mean it has to roll down. You just want to pay attention to that signal. And someone just, oh, here we go. Okay, let me look at AMC first, and then I'll go look at MG&I for you. All right, look at this. What do we notice? A gap down. A gap down, and then it goes and fills the gap. This is the gap down, though. That's very important. Look, oh, 488. That's hilarious. Technically, it opened back up at 489. I was so close. But this one's cheaper. I think that people will fight this one a lot because it's cheaper than GME. All the focus is on GME, but that will start to leak into AMC over time. We haven't even curled over on a 5-minute chart yet on either one. But these are the rigged moves. You can tell by the gap. You can tell by the gap that we made right between here. Now it's starting to pump up again. That's great. As long as it can hold above $5, that's great. If you're someone that can't handle watching it all day, I wouldn't do it. Do you know what I do on my other screen? I have nothing open on my other screen for AMC and GME. The only thing I have on my other screen is this guy right here in case it makes that 1 hour divergence. I think this 1 hour divergence would make a lot of sense here. I think we get a little 15-minute pullback, that pumps up, and then after hours, maybe tomorrow, they just rip everything away because they have to pay for AMC and GME. It could happen as soon. Remember last week? Last Wednesday, if you go back to the live stream, I said this could play out. If you time it out, it most likely, if it's going to be some kind of quick move up and then rip away, and then we're seeing AMC and GME run, as long as that is them buying AMC and GME, that's when you'd see it run. If they're selling Nvidia to pay to suppress AMC and GME even more, then it won't run. But I said Tuesday most likely is where Nvidia starts to see some kind of rug pull, and then that's where you'll see the manipulation come in, and maybe we see a triple divergence on an hourly scale throughout the week. That's what I'm going to pay attention to. XLU is down, exactly. That's why I think a pullback is coming in the market with this data that's coming out. So we go over to the SPY, 15-minute. I think we have a good shot at a 15-minute pullback. I still think that's going to be a higher low. I don't think we go all the way back down. I think that would be a little bit unlikely, but it's possible. It depends on, everything's rigged, right? Mainly you just want to see is XLU like rug pulling as well. I'm so bad at finding my charts these days. Look at that. It bought right back up. So, okay, 845, 51.3. So that's actually very bad. We'll see what happens with the market because of that. but people might wait till 9 a.m. Q's right now outside of its daily expected move, so a pullback to fill the gap would make sense. Look for that higher low. Well, the 20% gain. Tis a good day every day. So I want to show you this. Like, I'm not even trying to trade it too much back and forth. But as of right now, I am 140% up on my call option for AMC. And I'm not even thinking about selling. I'm chilling. That's what I said. I said I'm going to hold that one the whole time. So, but pay attention to this. Pay attention to Nvidia. Probably a 15-minute pullback will come. And I might, oh shoot, I have to use the restroom. Dang it. Stupid bladder. I'm going to leave you guys on GME just for a moment here. And I'm going to go use the restroom so I'm prepared for when the data comes out. I'll be back in literally like 2 minutes. And we're back. Was that quick enough? Was that fast? That was pretty fast. That was pretty fast. Take gains at certain level. That's just a hard line rule. No regrets. Hey, that's like I said. If you're trading it back and forth, that's fine. And Johnson, thank you for subscribing. Really appreciate it. If you're trading it back and forth, that's fine. I'm more treating this as half of it trading back and forth, half of it I'm just like part of the movement. So AMC, we haven't seen these crossover on 5 minutes. I told you guys 5-minute charts are going to be very, very important. So what am I going to do? So now that I made a little bit of money this morning, I am going to buy a little bit of the stock with the gains. There you go. And then what I'll do is I'm going to buy AMC just to add to my just stock position. And then I am going to see if GME sees a 5-minute pullback. If GME sees a 5-minute pullback, I'll most likely grab that. Will though. I don't even know if it'll see a 1-minute pullback. Look at this. Looks like it's about to curl up again. I think a 5-minute pullback's likely though. All right, we get data drop in about 11 minutes. 11 minutes. Stuff is not loading very quickly. That's lame. Paying attention. Remember, if the Nvidia setup does not happen, I'm not going to take the trade. I'm very, very patient. Technically, the data we just got at 8:45 wasn't the best. So if 9 o'clock's going to follow that, which it really should, then we could see a lot of things start to head down. Just for some kind of pullback is what I think. All right, let's go look at the SPY real quick, see if we're seeing that pullback. Right now on the 5-minute, you see how it's still very, very positive. I think you got a good shot at a 15-minute pullback throughout the day, and then we see if this can curl back up at any time by the end of the day. I think maybe something like this actually happens. Something dramatic, make people buy some short positions, and then boom, that turns right back up towards the end of the day. We'll see. Unless it just happens right now. What data do we get? We get PMI, the manufacturer PMI? Yeah, manufacturing PMI at 9 a.m. But we did get the manufacturing PMI final right here, the global one. But this is the one that people mainly want to pay attention to. XLU or HYG? Right now, XLU. Right now, I think XLU is more important. But both HYG and XLU are both pulling back. HYG should pull back on that data, by the way. There you go. There's it tried to bounce, but it got the data. Boom, rips away. XLU can behave a little bit differently, right? But I think once we get this data, we'll figure it out. We're paying attention. Silver screaming down. Let's go look at silver for a second. This one I said that looks like some weakness up in this area. It's still within its zone. There's the weakness that we spotted out. Boom, it crosses down. It's able to go negative. That's not a good sign. If this 30-minute can't curl back up and go positive, you might be in trouble here. You do have divergence down here, though. So if that completes, you just got to manage that trade. That's what you learn in the course, how to manage the trade. You'll learn that in the last video. Nvidia is already pulling back. Yes, okay, so it hit our little resistance line. This is more of a resistance line that I marked off. The weekly range is up above it. It's up in this area up here, just so you're aware. But if you want the actual weekly expected move for Nvidia for that 68% zone, that'll be on Patreon. So it's safe to sell out of Nvidia at the day's end if calls expire June 14th. I mean, think of it like this. If you're making any money out of Nvidia and there is a pretty good probability that this is what they are going to rug pull to pay for AMC and GME, most likely they're going to rug pull this regardless with some kind of 1 hour triple divergence or something like that. I would just say if you're making good profit, that's when I like to take profit. Okay, I say it in the course. I'm pretty blunt about how I take profit. I make a target. If I make more money before I get to that target, I kind of just say, hey, I would like that money. Thank you very much. And then maybe I'll leave a couple runners until my target. So it just depends on how you like to take profit. I don't know your trading strategy. I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know if you are trading based on a 30-minute cross-up right here into positive territory. We're not in positive territory yet. There's a lot that you could be doing differently than me. As far as it goes, I think Nvidia goes way down over the next 1 to 5 years. But that doesn't really help the options. So hard to say. You got to look at your strategies. Tesla, solid move up. Running into our resistance at 180.92. 180.92. Kath and Kimland, hell yeah, that's what's up. Made 1,500 on the SPY today from watching XLU. That's what's up, Adrian. Great job. Congratulations. Congratulations. Nice job. Yeah, so it's pretty much any stock that looks like it is way to the upside, you probably want to be quick with taking profit. That's what I would say. Oh, for a second, I thought it sold my AMC contract. I was like, I didn't sell my AMC contract. God, that's scary. Solid move for Tesla. This is the wonky one, but crossing up, maybe we see a clear 2 hour, 4 hour divergence. And Amazon, good little bounce there. 5 minutes until we get some data. Nvidia trying to cross up on that hourly chart, right? Trying to cross up. We'll see if that's able to happen today. If that happens today, we could get rug pulled tomorrow, and that's what we were pointing out last week. I don't need any of these emails. Let's keep that up. See AMD already seeing the slight rug pull. Interesting. So I really thought this would set up. We're going back into a liquidity zone. We'll see what happens with the data. 5 more minutes. Meta, gotta be cautious with this one. Has anyone else seen a big move up? Mara? Mara's one that I said, hey, yeah, this could curl up 2 hour, create some kind of 2 hour divergence up here. Sell zone above you. A lot of sell zones, a lot of sell areas, a lot of areas of weakness right now. XLU finally coming back down. 15-minute crosses back down. Well, what do you got up here? You got divergence as well. Just see how it's on the MACD. It's not on the MACD. It's still up a little on the MACD, but it's downward on the RSI. That's why I think this is going to be some kind of XLU pullback, some kind of SPY pullback, and by the end of the day, we might actually go higher, right? We might do some kind of little U right here, some kind of little boop, boop. So I'm paying attention if this MACD just does this, rolls down, rolls back up. Not guaranteed though, right? There's nothing here that's telling me this stock has to go down. Nothing here is telling me the stock has to go down. How we doing out there? What do we want to look at? Anyone want to look at something fun? Will GME pass 50 today? Today? So you're saying like today is very difficult. This is a rigged stock. They could just suppress it all day. It could go all the way back down to $22, $23. I can tell you this right now. If it goes back down to $22 or $23, I'm buying GME. And has no reserves. That's true. They have negative reserves. If they want to suppress this and bring it all the way down to like 23, and then I'll have another buy order down here at $17.70, probably $18. Perfectly fine with it. No, it's going to be suppressed. You can tell right here, GME, right here. Remember, this is how we know that something is fishy. This is how you know that we are right. Something is very bad here. Gold and the dollar. Let's go look at gold. Is that seeing that bounce back? Is it 2 hour divergence? Yeah, 2 hour divergence. Trying to confirm as of right now. That can roll up the daily. You can see gold pump a little bit. Dollar, what's the dollar doing? Volatility trying to scale up. The dollar breaking down. Let's look at the timing of this. Breaking down, breaking down. We'll see if that continues to break down as the SPY breaks down. That would be insider buying. Okay, we're going to see if that happens at the same time. That really helped us out last week. Dow Jones, oof. Maybe needs to create a stronger base to head higher. Maybe a slightly higher low would be good for it. MGNI, I'm sorry, I didn't even look at that one, did I? Okay, here you have 30-minute triple divergence. You have quadruple divergence almost. Oh no, you have triple divergence across the way. Maybe a 2 hour. Yeah, you have a 2 hour. So you have a chance here that this is all you get. Yeah, you have a chance here. This is all you can get. Look at the downward move. Hasn't been able to cross up. This could be a rejection right closer to the center line, right? So if this starts to lose this level right here, 12.16, and maybe a little lower. I'd say 12.10, maybe 12.10. It's not looking very good for MGNI. We should be trading only after hours to avoid being halted. Well, you'd say that about overnight markets too, but it was halted. GME halted an overnight market as well. So this is why we're really paying attention to what the market is actually doing, because the market will sell off if the GME and AMC thing is happening. XLU will sell off, and our crash signals will confirm if we are going to see some kind of actual pump in AMC and GME. Now, if it sells off and we don't see AMC and GME pump, well, then you might get some kind of 2 hour divergence for XLU. You might see some kind of divergence here for the SPY on like a 30-minute, right? We might see a dramatic sell-off like this and then see that pump back up. Ooh, okay. 48.7, that's going to be good news. Okay, so this is where Nvidia could pump. You could see the sell-off as close as Tuesday. If Nvidia pumps here, crosses up on an hourly chart throughout the day, by the end of the day, we'll watch if it's forming some kind of divergence. This will be huge. Bigger gold? Is this a miners? Oh, Barrick. Oh my, what the what happened? Is that on a dividend? What? Now, if you're looking at the daily scale here, the daily said do not be in this. Let's see if the daily said right here, don't be in this, very close to the center line. But that is very fishy. Did the 30-minute give you a hint? 30-minute didn't go positive, so you couldn't be too positive on it. What is going on with this? This is very weird. That's very, very weird. That finger, yeah, someone made a mistake. Accidentally priced in at 17 cents, not 17. Like I said, if you can't watch these things, yeah, it's difficult to watch. It's hard, but that's why you don't want to watch this all day. You should be like trading something else. That's why overall on my other screen, I don't even have them up. I have Nvidia up. Nvidia, I would like to see this pump during the retail hours of the day, and then the last bit of the day, they rip it away. Dollar dropping, but the key thing is the SPY dropping at the same time. So SPY is dropping, and you want to look at the previous hour for the dollar here, and it can continue. Don't think it can't just like continue. Yeah, so this is insiders are maybe buying here actually. And you have divergence on the 30-minute. Hourly divergence forming for the dollar here, so we'll see. It might even go all the way into the zone, but that's possibly insider buying. It doesn't look as clear as last time. Volatility, 30-minute chart, I do like. Trying to cross up. We'll see what happens. I think still maybe we get that pullback, but the 10-year dropping dramatically with that data. Am I not reading that correctly? Yeah, the 10-year should drop with that data. That's right, 48.7. So this should be good news for the market, meaning TLT you're going to see bounce. HYG we should see bouncing. Yeah, there's the bounce. But TLT heading higher here. Which means XLU probably should have... Yeah, see, XLU is still breaking down. ECC 0.65, yeah, so they're going to wait till that changes most likely. So the SPY probably does pull back and then gets some kind of rig to move down. Because that's way too much to the call side. Everyone saw that data and took calls. Now they're going to rig it to drop. The media might say, oh, this is bad for yields, bad for the inflation problem. And then by the end of the day, we see another moment like this. So once again, they're rigging everything. The dollar's selling while the SPY is selling right now. So there's insider buying most likely happening. That doesn't mean it has to pop right away. Notice that right here, it started to sell off on this 15-minute bar, and now we're selling off on the dollar. Okay, that would tell me there's some insider buying here, but that can last for a little bit until this PCC changes, right? This means puts are really cheap. This means puts are really cheap. So you could see an Nvidia pullback. You could see a few things pull back. Maybe they want to hold this up higher. Which one had a pop? Meta. Meta maybe pulls back and then goes back up once it hits a liquidity zone. If they can flip that, they need to flip this. The algorithm will not cause the stock market to go up. Calls are too expensive. They need to flip it right back up here. This is what we mentioned live. This was the trigger. If you go back and you look at the live video, I said multiple times, once we go above 0.956, that is when puts become a little bit more expensive. And that is the moment, right when we went past it, the next bar, we started to bottom in the SPY. Very, very good thing to pay attention to. Hey, thank you. 329 people to be here today. Thank you so much for joining the live stream. Really appreciate it. Thank you guys for smashing that like button. We're getting more people in here, more people interested in learning about technical analysis. Remember, our technical analysis about GME said all the short time frames were bullish. The only thing that was contrarian bearish was the daily chart. But look how that's trying to turn up, okay? Look how that's trying to turn up. It's still bullish. It's just contrarian bearish. Contrarian bearish. It's in a pullback. This is still positive territory, which means it is in a positive trend still. 30-minute, 2-hour, all of those were positive. Now you just want to make sure this is remaining positive. That's all. And you notice every time we hit 92.94 on the RSI, that's when we usually see some kind of sell-off. We almost got there. What did we notice about why this is rigged? Well, the halts that are good for retail somehow always makes the stock gap down during market hours because that is an opportunity for dark pools. Yeah, I think there is insider buying. The problem is they're going to hesitate the market, I think. I think they're going to hesitate the market until this flips. This is way too many calls. They need to make money right now. There's no way. I mean, unless the retail takes over in the market, but this is usually when you start to see a flip and it turns back this way. And then that's when you start to see a more of a drop off, right? So they want this to go like this. And then once it goes up into these areas, that's usually where you find a bottom, just like over here. At least for now, you can make that go higher. They can make it go much higher. It depends on how much they want to take from people. It's a solid bounce. Haven't curled over even on a 5-minute yet. Plug my Nvidia chart. Haven't crossed on the daily just yet. Remember, guys, that course in the description is only going to be $100. If we see the craziness continue, it's most likely going to last all of June. But the sooner you get it, the more clarity you get. And you can kind of implement that trading strategy. All right, now what are we seeing with GME? GME down to 28. About to curl over on a 5-minute. If they do it for me, I'm going. I don't care. If they push this all the way down like this, I don't care. I'm probably buying GME right at this point, right at $23. We'll see, but maybe I even be a good trader. I can just wait for this 5-minute. I can wait for this 5-minute to pull down, curl back up. That would be a confirmation of the next move. Now we have to see. This is going to be highly suppressed. You can see AMC, a lot of wicks. I think they realize, hey, AMC, they can do damage to still. It's not up by 80%. It's only up by like 20% at the open. My position on GME at 39, should I keep it? That is up to you, Fardis. Now, I would say GME, if it starts to curl over on a 5-minute, that might not be the moment. You have to just be willing to say, I believe in the movement. I think if Roaring Kitty is very confident it's going to happen in the position he took, I think it's going to happen. After I saw those positions, I even called my dad, I called my brother, and I said, you guys were kind of laughing at this, but I'm dead serious. I think this is one of the smartest positions I've seen. This could drop all the way to here. He just executes the contract. Boom. They're forced to buy the shares. When will that happen, though? Well, when you see curl-ups. You don't know the exact timing. You can't ever know the exact timing. It's impossible to know the exact timing. But you can let momentum give you a hint. So if the 5-minute curls down and is able to curl back up, that is a hint. What do I think happens? I think we see a 15-minute pullback. I think we see a 15-minute pullback just like this, and then it curls back up. We see this happen, and then by the end of the day, it curls back up. That is momentum telling you that the stock price can go up. That is momentum giving you a hint. I think we come and fill this gap. I actually think we end up lower. I think we maybe go all the way down to $20. They want to go below $20. They want to go below $20. I think that's very possible. For AMC, they want to go below 437. 437, very important. You notice they probably want to go below $4 for AMC. So we're paying attention to both, but Yeah, that a lot of people on the internet will formulate whatever for an actual date. It's better to just say, I don't care what date it happens. I can be in the move a little bit. That's what I'm doing. I'm trading one part and I'm also just in the move. I'm just in the move till the end. I'm in the move until the end. And this will be, if you're trading it back and forth, that's what we do on this channel. We teach you how to trade back and forth. Now, do you want to do that with your full amount? Well, this doesn't mean it has to. It could just do this, reject, and go. You could not see the signal, right? So that's why I'm holding some and then I'm trading some, right? I'm doing it about half and half now because I just used my profit from this morning on my volatility play I used the profit from my volatility play. I just bought stock. But for GME, I bought stock in AMC. I'm just upping my stock position in AMC. So what I'm overall doing is I'm watching GME pull down. If this crosses over on this 15-minute and curls back up right in this area, I will start to accumulate down in these areas around $20. I'll look for a 5-minute signal or something, right? I'll see this curl down. I'll see a big bounce up. I'll see it curl down. Maybe I get a base down here with some divergence on a 5-minute. We curl down, we curl up, we curl down, we curl up. Boom. That's going to be my good signal that momentum is behind me. That's momentum telling me, by the way. That's just learning about technical analysis right there. That's literally just learning about my strategies. If you're new here and you want to learn more about it, you want to learn directly how to find bounces and moves, look at this. It's just, see what I'm saying? It could just reject and go. That's why I'm holding the underlying stocks. Now GME, I'm waiting until I think it pushes all the way down to 23, maybe even $20. I'm waiting. Why? Why do I think it still pushes down? Nvidia hasn't sold off yet. Once Nvidia sells off, that's when we most likely see the pump. Such hype on two trash companies. Richard, I would say this. Where's the last place that I went to see a movie in a movie theater? AMC. Where's the place that I'm going to go to buy my, what do I have? I have a Switch. We need new controllers. Where am I going to go to buy those controllers? GameStop. You can say that a company is trash, but other people use the company. There are plenty of stocks that are much worse according to the numbers. Tesla has not been profitable like once, but Tesla's worth $180 or something. I do think you have an argument to say they are not the best performing companies, but are they really only worth $4? Everyone in my city, when they want to go see a movie in the theaters, where do they go? AMC. If AMC was not in my city, we would not have movie theaters. Well, duh, it's overhyped. Yeah, Richard. Of course it's overhyped. That's kind of the point, is to overhype it so that you can fight back against the short selling, which we know is there. We can go look at Microsoft again real quick. Thank you so much, Ukane, for joining. Really appreciate it. Let's go take a look at Microsoft for a moment. Landon asking about Microsoft. All right. See, 15-minute curled up, but it's not positive yet, and I still think a lower high comes in for Microsoft at the end of the week, but we'll see. It could extend for a long time. What happened there at AMD? Well, it got rug pulled up at higher levels. So what I could do is I could pull up my weekly ranges. I could look at AMD. Where did it go? It's not at that weekly range yet. So I think this is just some kind of fake out move most likely. But if it needs a stronger base, it can go all the way back down to 160.83. Right? Nothing in the market is guaranteed. 160.83, curls back up, divergence, right? You just always have to be open to multiple scenarios. That's what we teach on this channel. Open to multiple scenarios. Now, Microsoft, this was a big upward move, but don't think that that can't go create a stronger base, right? Don't think it can. If they, like this being at 0.66 tells me that they do not want to pump any stocks right now. They may want to sell some off. SPY, what do we notice? Oh, it's holding up. But what about XLU? It's not. It's trying to sell off. It's crossing over on its 15-minute right now. SPY is not. That might catch up to XLU. We might see this continue to pull back. But this came in lower. That is positive news. This is good news. PMI is lower. That means inflation can be lower. Still might take a play on Nvidia. It might be my long-term play for the next month. Probably 2 months. 1 month's not long-term enough. 2 months sounds good. Like a medium term. I like medium term. Thank you for subscribing. Rico, thanks so much for subscribing today. Thank you to the 350 people that are here. I love AMC theaters. Trap, trap, trap. Looks like it's getting close to the top of the range. Things are going to behave differently in the market, by the way. They're going to pump certain things, rip it away. They're going to pump certain things, rip it away, right? So what I'd really like to see is this 30-minute start to curl over. Now, you could make a 30-minute divergence. You want to see divergences first, but as it approaches that upside move very early on in the week, that tells you 68% chance for a drop. So where was our Apple range? Let me go pull that up. Apple's range is higher up, and we could get that full retest we were talking about in the video, right? Up towards 196. We could get a full retest up here. And then we could do something like this. We could literally, they could rig it all week. All week. You could get something like this by like Wednesday. And that's the stuff that we'll put on Patreon when I make my update video on Patreon for setups. I have no risk in any of these stocks right now. I have no trades in any stock right now. I am being patient and waiting for my setup. I do not have to overtrade. Gold, New York Stock Exchange equity is investigating reported technical issue. Okay, good, because that was crazy. I think they want you to think it's crashing. They've been grooming the fear. So I could hold Nvidia till the end of the day if the stock ends high. Well, you'll see. Yeah, it'll tell you if it's going to end higher by the end of the day. So like risk management is what we teach a lot in the course, and it's one of the most important things. If this 30-minute rolls over, first of all, no reason to start to go. So technically, if this 15-minute rolls over, there's no reason for upside. But if that can do this and roll back up, then there's a reason. So you really want to pay attention if this 15 minutes rolling over. It looks like they're really just holding it higher. And this is the most manipulated stock. That's why I really encourage people, like if you're retail and you don't understand chart behavior very well or how to get in and out of positions, and you're, something like that, you don't understand that Nvidia is rigged to the upside, so it's likely to go up. You're right. But right now, they might have to sell this off dramatically to pay for AMC and GME, so that's all. Gold doesn't look bad. Silver doesn't look bad. Gold doesn't look bad. Silver doesn't look bad. I know people will say it looks garbage. It's selling off. It's down, blah, 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 whatever. That's a 2-hour divergence down here. You have 2-hour divergence down here. If that can go positive, you're going to see the daily roll up. All right. SLV, same thing, but on a 30-minute, right? We see that, or 2-hour, if that curls up, remember we talked about how this is actually some kind of hidden divergence here because you're holding up better. 30-minute, did that confirm? It's confirming right now. It has divergence behind it. You can see a pump up. Now you are in consolidating right now. Sorry, I just drew instead of pulling across the screen. You are in consolidation right now, so you could just break up to here, break back down, break up to here, break back down. You can continue this for a long time, moving sideways. What is this? Oh, yeah. Okay. That's going to be a glitch because of the Barrick gold, but it tells you they're in gold. I think that's a glitch because of the Barrick gold. So I highly doubt they'll halt this. They won't allow you to buy the stock until the glitch is fixed. It's going to open back up and be right back up here. But gold looks pretty good. Even the 30-minute here, you have the 30-minute divergence for gold right now. There's a 30-minute. You have a 2-hour behind it. What can that do? It can roll up a daily chart. Okay, now you do have divergences on the daily chart for gold. So if you do get a new high here, you could create triple divergence. This could be some kind of pump and then dump. Possible triple top on Apple. Yeah, Apple is not outside of its weekly range just yet, but I understand. I understand what you're saying. I would really just see if this 2 hour can complete the divergence, then it looks pretty good. But I would be taking out longer positions in that's what I'm doing personally, because I'm pretty convinced that they're going to rig this market even more. ECC not ticking up. Now we're going to maybe start to see articles pop out. All right, strength and technicals. Once we start to sell off, Toby. Ah, dang it. I got to take care of the old dog real quick. I'll be right back in 2 seconds. Oh gosh, my old man. TLT false breakout. It's the right move, but they might don't think they can't rig TLT as well. So this is the right move. This is the correct reaction to the data. Remember, the dollar's dropping off and the SPY is staying flat. Okay, even coming down a little bit. So the fact that the dollar's dropping off and the market's staying flat, I think the big guys are buying even here. Goddamn. Yeah, there's a lot of glitches happening. I don't think this is a bull trap yet. Now, they could, if this could be a bull trap for the day if this doesn't start to tick up, but it's starting to tick up. We'll see. They just have to keep it flat until people are convinced that the market's going to go down. I'm not convinced this is a bull trap yet. The dollar is not saying this is a bull trap yet. XLU is not saying this is a bull trap yet. Nothing is the same as last Friday. Look at Chipotle. Sold TLT, made 250. Nice job. Hell yeah. Yeah, this was a glitch too? How many glitches are we going to have today? Technical issues. Yeah, it's a technical issue. Nothing wrong there. It's going to fuck up the charts, though. I hate when that happens. It really messes up the charts. Apple, I think you got a good shot of like a 15-minute divergence before this sells off. So now you might see the whole market pull back. Apple then goes back up, and then it starts to sell off. We'll have to see. Man, maybe they just don't sell off the market. The thing is, calls are so cheap. Ooh. Wait a second. Calls are really expensive right now. If they can push this higher, then puts would be the cheaper option right now. Puts would be much cheaper. If they can push this higher, if they actually push the market higher right now, that would be interesting. Because we see the dollar going down, insiders are buying. So that would tell me, what do I need to look out for? This 2 hour crossing up, it's crossed. So if that remains crossed and the calls are still very, very high, or very, very high call volume there, then puts would be really cheap. So if we see a rapid move up and just see that fade, that would be crazy. I wonder if that would happen. G-Wave. Not curled up on the 2 hour, negative territory. It looks bad. The thing about G-Wave and all these other ones now is because of the AMC and GME thing, you might see a lot of these start to sell off. They might start to sell off just because a lot of that money is going to flow back into GME and AMC. It's a very good thing for GME and AMC. It's a bad thing for G-Wave. Right? 5 minute was able to cross. This is your pullback. If it goes green, you see a strong bar. That technically is momentum saying, hey, there's a shot. I think you need to pull back more than this. I would like to see it go back down to the gap fill. So the only reason I'm assuming that puts are cheap is because calls are what everyone wants right now. So puts are in low demand according to the ratio. According to the ratio of 0.67, that means that everyone wants calls. It's just a simple economic thinking, right? If you take in economics, you understand supply and demand. Right now, the supply, let's say the supply stays even for calls, but the demand goes up. That means the calls would be more expensive, right? If I have 10 apples and only 2 people want them, then I could charge $10 or I could charge $2 an apple. But if I have 10 apples and 30 people want them, then I can charge $100 an apple. Yeah, BRK. It's just a glitch, guys. No. Nope. I did not sell AMC. I have one position I'm trading back and forth. I have the other position I'm holding. I bought more AMC just now. So I took my profit from my trade this morning. I made 170% on the volatility play I took. And that probably would have printed more money for me, but I'm going to just scale into another position, make my position a little sturdier for the hold on AMC. So PCC, when chart goes up, that's the calls going up in price. No. Okay, so PCC is a put to call ratio. Okay, so right now there is a 0.67 put to call ratio. So in order for, so that just, I'll break it down very simply. 1-to-1 ratio means even number. That means there is an exact level amount of puts and calls. Now, most of the time the market goes up. So actually puts become expensive a lot sooner, I think, than calls, because most of the time the market goes up. So I think it's like above 0.8 is where it starts to be flipping more towards the put side. But up here is where there are, above 1, that means there are more puts than calls in the market. Puts are in demand because it's a put to call ratio. Think of it as just put a division line and put, say there's a 2-to-1 ratio, in like 2.0. That would be 2 puts for every call. Right now, there is about almost 2 calls for every put. That is when it is lower. So lower put to call ratio means that the call side is in demand, right? And then the higher put to call ratio means the put side is in demand. Oh yeah, I thought you were just saying awkward this whole time. Technically, yes, but the market most of the time goes up. So calls really don't get more expensive until like 0.8. But yes, you are right. This one here on the 30-minute, I'll probably see divergence. No, it's going to be maybe 15. Yeah, there's your 15-minute divergence. You can tell once you do chart analysis for long enough, you can see little divergences like this, little divergences like this. Just from looking at a 5-minute, I could tell there's something on a 30-minute or a 15. It's there. But this hasn't confirmed yet, but you do have it. And it's still a little bit far away from the center line. So you do have the opportunity to do something like this, right? And a good example of that is the 2-hour chart on AMD, what I think will set up for AMD on the 2-hour chart. So if you go look at a 2-hour, I still think this most likely sets up where you see a triple divergence. See how it's a little bit further away from the center line still. So then when it curls up, it has a little bit of room to run here. And then you can see a triple divergence. Nvidia curling up. Did it curl up on this hourly? Shit, am I going to have to take an Nvidia play today? Because I'm down, dude. Hopefully that was helpful, Dawson. IWM chart. Let's go look at IWM, see what we can find in this. IWM is going to run when AMC runs, right? AMC, GME, small caps. We'll see. But as far as this goes, 2-hour, maybe we create another point of divergence over here. I think you got a good shot of hitting that topside move. IWM could behave a little funky. Small caps. I'm still on AMC 2K shares at 417. That's solid. I like it. Should be, but the only problem with that is something that has a lot of volume in it right now is being suppressed. Something with a lot of volume in it right now is being suppressed. This is being pushed down by market makers. Rates are recovering. Remember, there's going to be rigged stuff happening. Just think, everything can be rigged. Everything. And we still get a lot of data too. So, you know, even TLT, the smart money, they won't get overexcited, right? They'll be like, okay, this is right, but we get data. We're hitting a point here, right? Our little trend line right there, we're hitting it. We're in a channel. So now you would expect some kind of back off. And the fact that the dollar is still dropping off, going into our zone, that zone was very good to us in the past. But the put to call ratio, I think, is just off right now for their plan. I don't think they were planning on this. So now I think you do have potential to see some kind of rigged move up. But it's kind of like, do they rig the move up and then wipe people's calls out? Or do they rig the move down to get people to buy puts? And then once the puts are too high, that's when they start to move the market up. So we got to pay attention to what XLU is doing, starting to pull back still, crossed over on the MACD. The SPY most likely will follow that. We're getting a W on Nvidia. It's crossed up on the hourly, but I think, it hasn't crossed up on the hourly, sorry. The 15-minute I still has a good chance to pull back here. I think you just see some kind of thing like this. Now, that's just an I think. I want to pay attention to what's actually happening, right? Meta. We can look at Meta again. Ooh, okay, so right away, 15-minute. I would just say this. If I see a 2-hour curling up and I see a 15-minute like that, I am going to be patient. I want to be patient. If the setup does not happen, I do not take the trade. Just because I want to do something, you said you want to do something. Just because you want to do something doesn't mean you should do something. That's discipline. My discipline tells me here the 15-minute is cooked. Now, they can keep rigging this up, but overall, I'm in the assessment that we're going to see some kind of big drop over the next few months or maybe even over the next few years. So that could mean to me, well, if I take anything up here, what if this just rolls over right now and it's game over? So a trader would say, hey, this is a strong move on a 15-minute. That's great. It's way into positive territory. Let me see if that gets some kind of pullback. If that gets some kind of pullback, I'd feel better about taking the position over here than over here. Because this position I'm buying when it's very overbought. But if it can do this and buy almost in the same area, right? Pretty close to the same area here. If I could do that, well, this will be down here on the RSI and I can see the next push up. And maybe I see a divergence up here and that says, hey, take profit, right? See how I can quickly formulate a plan. Now I have a plan for this stock and I can stare at this one. Maybe I formulate a plan for another one, whichever one pops up first, whichever one plays out. Maybe I make multiple scenarios. What if the other scenario is I'm patient on this and it doesn't see a pullback and it curls up on this 2-hour? What if it curls up on the 2-hour, goes past that weekly expected move and then does this and confirms a downward move on the 2-hour? Then I could say, oh, maybe I want to short Meta for the next month, right? I'm formulating plans and then I see which one plays out. Does that help, Carlos? Oh, Carlos, how did Costco work out for you? Oh, another rigged move up. Good divergences. Earnings was green. We saw a drop because the earnings are green. Now we're going to get maybe a 30-minute divergence again. There you go. 30-minute divergence popping up again at this high. Watch out. If that rolls over, we can continue that negative trend. You're very close to negative territory here. BRKA is done 100%. It's not done. It's a glitch. They just own a lot of the stock. There's glitches in Chipotle. There's glitches in Berkshire. There's glitches in gold. There's glitches everywhere. Berkshire Hathaway is not down 99%. It is not down 99%. Don't, anytime you see something like that, it is a glitch. There is no way that it is down 99%. They hold Apple. Like that's the biggest holding is Apple. Yeah, so for the trade, it would have told you right here that there's possible upside, and then I'm just saying you could have reapplied that over here. Maybe break even and then reapply it. But yeah, it still looks okay if that can roll over. I'd just be careful if that keeps heading up, though. Anything can happen. All right, 15-minute. We're seeing that start to curl. Let's check on AMC. GME. They're holding up. Holding up. Watch for the next halt. Someone tell me if they get halted, please. XLU dropping down a little bit further. Dollar starting to bounce a little from here. Interesting. Interesting. Remember, like, we have to read into this a little bit and say, what if they're going liquid to buy AMC or GME? That could be happening here, guys. You see XLU? I thought this will be a green day. Yes. But XLU ran up. We were mentioning how it could have a pullback in XLU, and that would be kind of a signal. And we have data this week, so we have to pay attention to the data. Just know this, though. The data is good. This is good. Manufacturing employment ticking up, you know, they could read into that a little bit and use that as some kind of fuel to say, okay, that's a little bit inflationary. But construction spending lower is actually deflationary. New orders going down, slightly deflationary. But these are all weakness for the economy, so it depends on how people read into it. Right now, XLU pulling back. You're seeing the correct reaction to the data right here. TLT is having the correct reaction to the data. The yields are having the correct reaction. Sure, there could be pullbacks. We can see that. We still get more data tomorrow. Most likely TLT is the smart money. They won't get overexcited. They never do. They make the move, and then they go flat. They go down a little bit, and then they pay attention to the data the next day, and then that'll be what makes it go up or down. Volatility curling up on the 15 minutes. See if that's able to curl back down. I think they want to scale this up. I'm really thinking the 30 minutes starts to get up towards the center line and curls back down. It appears GME has been halted. Not on TradingView, but maybe on certain platforms. This is where the 5-minute probably told us something. Let's see on GME. You see it went red for a sec. Let's see if that can go back to green. Then we can see something good happen. Maybe it was halted. We'll have to see. Mr. Dave Sanders. Dave, did you send me a donation this weekend? I really appreciate that. I think you sent me a donation this weekend. I got like 3 donations this weekend, and me and wifey gave baby girl to Abuela, and we went and had a nice lunch. So thank you guys for the donation. It allowed us to go have a good time and have some lunch. Thank you. Nvidia crossing over on the 5-minute finally. 15-minute, what I want to pay attention to, though. Yeah, everyone is going to mess with the price action. Everyone is going to mess with AMC and GME. Yeah, I don't think there was a halt, but it says market closed on my platform. Which platform, KTA? Still moving over here. Still moving. And I think Robinhood will be fine throughout this for the most part, because there's no way they didn't have a plan in place in case it happened. But that was last night that I saw that halt, and then we had one halt today. That one halt, you just know. That's how you know this. Wait, oh, there it is. There's the halt. Halted here, drops. That is the dark pool messing with the stock. That is that is Wall Street allowing the big guys to create positions that force the stock to go down. All that needs to happen is Roaring Kitty needs to execute his trade, and I'm telling you, I think this thing rips. Made 5.5. Congratulations, Gordon. Nice play on oil. Oh, IG trading platform. Okay. Robinhood halted. Robinhood unhalted. It must have been quick. I think Robinhood would be very unintelligent to not make a plan for this, If Robinhood remained open for GME and AMC the whole time, do you know how many people would love Robinhood after that? It'd be great. But AMC and GME, if they have problems with it and they halt it, they take away the buy button, I think Robinhood goes away. I think Robinhood fails as a company. They will have no one that is willing to use their platform anymore. Because their whole side is like retail. Their whole company is based on their clients of retail traders. So if they do any funky business with GME and AMC, I think they're done. All right, let's go take a peek over at the actual stock market. We got to keep a close eye on this today, guys. I know you want me to look around at charts and stuff. I get it. That's awesome. I love doing that. Just click over here. Apple's still trying to make that upward move. Let's look at AMC and GME on here. Yeah, I got resistance above the weekly expected move for AMC. GME actually reacting off of the top side weekly expected move. That is a good sign. That is a good sign. But we have to hold above that. That's where the squeeze can happen. So that's the unexpected area. So GME has more potential to squeeze right now than AMC. The heck? I just got... Oh, a change of address for my... I need to send in ID verification. Change of address. That's the bad part about moving all that crap. Shoot, now I forgot what I was doing. Freaking ADHD. I hate when that happens. So the reason we have to pay attention to the market, this is actually very important for the AMC and GME thing, in my opinion. So Nvidia, if that can see an upward push, then I'm pretty convinced we're going to see a top for Nvidia, maybe even this week. I just want to see the put-call ratio now at 0.68. You see how it's slowly trickling up. If we just sit here, people are going to get nervous and they might start to buy puts. And if we make any kind of move down, that might escalate. And then right when it escalates, right when it gets the worst, and they can make the most money to the call side, they might push Nvidia back up, push the SPY back up, see that squeeze again. AMC, I'm not going to tell you if you should buy or sell. I'm not going to tell you if you should buy or sell anything. Not even AMC or GME. You have to understand the movement. You have to understand the illegal activity that's going on. You have to understand naked shorts. All I would say is technical analysis would say this isn't a positive trend on the 15-minute. That means positivity for the stock. If that pulls back, we wait for it to curl back up. Positivity for the stock on the 30-minute. And then we look at a 2-hour, not positive yet. Okay, so it's not the most positive move possible yet. But if you see some kind of 30-minute, 15-minute pull back, and then that crosses back up, that can turn up your 2-hour. Can't tell you whether to buy or sell. I can tell you what the signals look like if there's weakness, but I can't tell you if you can buy or sell. This is about learning over here. I don't stream for free to make everyone else money. I mean, I do it to make you learn so that you have a high probability to make money. And a lot of the things that I say are much more obvious than other streamers. That's the point. Your thoughts are it won't move much until then. I could see a run up until then, and or a run up over the next day or so, a fall down, and then a run up after the news, and then another downfall. All right, let me read chat again. We clicked over. You got me. No, I asked if is good to buy on CFD. So CFD, I don't really mess with a lot, so I couldn't necessarily give you that take. I don't like. I'm one that will admit a video. Like I will admit if there's something I am not very versed in or pay attention to much. I have a certain style that I have stuck to a lot. It works really, really well. And so I don't want to give you any wrong advice, right? I don't want to give you any wrong analysis. So I don't do CFD very often. Actually, I probably don't do it at all. So I'm just being honest with you. I don't want to waste your time or anything like that, right? I don't want to try to tell you something and then it goes wrong and then you're like, oh, well, you know, you don't know anything about this. You don't know anything about stocks. No, I will tell you if I don't know something. I'm a very honest guy. New York Stock Exchange hack, just know it. Note it. Remember what I said. The negative loop. When one thing is rigged, you'll start to see more things happen. I appreciate you, a video coming in. I do, and I hope you find what you're looking for out there. Dustin, thank you for subscribing. Why is XLU a leading indicator? It is right now. So when XLU and SPY are working in tandem and you see them both run up at the same time, in history, that has proven to be a crash signal. And you notice that this V-shaped recovery, that's why we called it, SPY was following XLU. Did you say wait for the cat to play, then we rip on GME to the moon then? GME, pretty much how I'm doing it, guys, and I think the smartest way to do it is you buy the stock with an amount of money that's not going to hurt you. That's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm just telling you what I'm doing. I have the stock, right? I have AMC for an amount of money that will not hurt me. And then I'm trading it back and forth with the position, and I'm also have a call position that's not going to hurt me if I lose it. I'm playing with an amount of money that will not hurt me. Now you're waiting for the cat to tweet maybe to go in, but I'm just telling you based on momentum what you can look for. If the 15-minute rolls over right here, that means that a pullback is happening, and you want to see if that can confirm another upward move. That is how you read into momentum. That's what I'm trying to teach you here. So then you can just stare at even a 5-minute chart. In the 5-minute chart, if this curls back up, that is confirming more upside. Now, you don't have a lot of room to the upside on a 5-minute chart, but we know that some craziness could continue. I'm going to show you where that weekly expected move is. It's right there. So we go up, we react off our weekly expected move. That's what we give out on Patreon. So I'm not going to give you the exact number because people pay for that. The Jimbo, thank you for subscribing as well. And what do? We react off that move. Now, that's a very good sign. That's a very good sign for GME. Very good sign. Gold is now fixed and proper. So someone check Berkshire. I'm sure it's fine. I hate saying Berkshire. Thank God, as I have 10K on it. Yeah, a glitch like that, don't be too worried. They're going to fix it. Unless it's a one-off company or some kind of, you know, IPO or something like that. If those go to zero, then that could be real. Fidelity is playing games. It probably means that they have short seller positions. They are somehow tied into it. SPY falling, and puts aren't increasing just yet. SPY needs to catch up right now to, all right, what do we say? Well, this could react all the way down to here. If that curls back up, it's all a trap. We'll still pay attention to it, but remember, if they need to pay, this could be different. If they need to pay right now for what is going on with GME and AMC, the market can start to drop. So what do we want to pay attention to? Yeah, the SPY is falling. Yeah, the Qs are pulling back into their daily expected move, right? 68% chance for a drop. So now we want to pay attention. Is Nvidia dramatically selling off? We'll see. If Nvidia starts to do this, then that could be the moment for AMC and GME. They're selling out of their assets. They do not own the shares that they are shorting, that they are short selling. That means that they have to somehow come up with liquidity. They have to somehow come up, and their collateral that they use to borrow shares or whatever, right? If they're borrowing shares, the collateral they use are stocks. And one of them is Nvidia, and Nvidia is the highest. So that would tell me Nvidia needs to see a dramatic sell-off when this GME and AMC thing happens. That would convince me that that's the real moment. If it doesn't, then that's most likely a fake pump. Right? Do you see how I'm able to put all that together? I'm able to put all of it together. But the way that I can just be chill about this, if you don't want to know any of this, is just be like, hey, Roaring Kitty bought enough to potentially make the problem come outright in general. He has so many contracts that if he just executes them, they're forced to go buy the shares to sell it back to him. They need to give him his shares because he has all the contracts. So if any of them sold him a contract, I'm guessing a lot of them did. That is going to be bad. That is going to be very bad for the short sellers, and they will have to buy up GME. I'm guessing if he was able to, if he only needs the capital, right? So if his capital, he had to front money to take the positions. So he has enough money for the position. The only thing he has to pay back is the time value. So it depends on when he executes. Right now, if he executes the time value, he might not have enough money for it. It would be a big number. It might be like $50 million or $70 million. It might be a big number. But if he can wait and the stock goes up very dramatically, and then the time value gets erased, because that's all you have to pay. That's all you have to pay for when you buy back an executed option, is the time value for the most part. So that would tell me he just has to buy back the time value, because when you're buying the stock, you don't. Option gives you time value. The stock doesn't. So that would tell me if he's going to execute, maybe he just holds it the whole time, executes later on, so he only, like, the value of his thing is worth so much that it covers it. He sells some of it and then buys the rest. What do I think long-term? I don't know if it's a long-term play during all of this. I think that AMC, I think AMC would be a fair price, somewhere between $14 to $22. I think that would be a fair price for AMC. So long-term, I think it goes somewhere in between there and it chills. But short-term, I think if it's exposed, right, if the short selling is exposed fully, that thing could just rip to God knows where. It could be infinite because it's short selling. Call selling, right? Call selling, there's a floor. If Nvidia, you're call selling, still your floor is $0. But if I was short selling Nvidia, then my floor is, or my ceiling is nowhere. It can just keep going. That's the problem that could happen here. It depends on how much short selling they actually did. A has to go in short term for AMC to have a long term. That's very true. Like, they have to deal with their debt, but this is a scenario that takes care of 100% of their debt. And also, we get the earnings from AMC and their popcorn sales. I know it's silly, but they've sold popcorn in Walmarts and things like that. And weirdly enough, if you go look, nobody can find the popcorn because it is always bought within the first 30 minutes of supply. So it is very bought up. Be careful here if you're shorting the SPY. I agree with you. I agree with you. Now we're going to see the dollar slightly moving up, but we already know it is down. We already know it is down. We know the insiders already have placed buys in most likely the SPY and other stocks. Now it is going to make this move sideways because retail is going to start to sell their positions. Retail is going to start to get more bearish, right? We see the put-call ratio starting to go up. So I think the goal here is to push the SPY down, to go down towards this area. This is right when people will start to give up. Maybe we even get more dramatic. Maybe we see a dramatic sell-off to really convince them, and then this is where that put volume starts to really increase, and then calls become cheap. We get a double bottom, and that starts to scale up. That is possible. So thank you to 344 people being here so you can see that scenario playing out. A 30-minute divergence is still possible here. You're still very close to the center line. We could do this. But by end of day, what's going to happen? That's the thing. By end of day, what's going to happen? That's why I didn't put bull trap, bear trap. It wasn't obvious this morning if this was a bull trap. It wasn't as obvious. Now it looks like they're trying to set up a bear trap. XLU, all we have to do is see if this bottoms out and starts heading higher while the SPY keeps heading lower. That will be a big signal. MBD. And if Nvidia starts crashing, MBDC, MBD. I don't think MBD is a thing. Let's see Nvidia. Now, if Nvidia starts just dramatically crash, just know this could be them ripping money away to pay for more suppression on AMC and GME. This is not negative yet, right? It's a dramatic sell-off. We told you 1140 was a very important level. Look at that. We try to close above it. It doesn't work out. That's the point. They're going to make it hard. That's why I said this is very difficult, and that's why I'm showing you. I'm trying to take a trade on Nvidia for you guys to show you how to do it. I'm showing you it in real time. Look how patient I am being. Look how patient I am being. If I wanted to, I could go away from my computer right now for the next probably 3 hours and come back and then look what it looks like. And then tomorrow I could maybe take a play on Nvidia. Right now, the play is not obvious, so I am not going to take a play. This is me showing you in real time how to trade Nvidia. I'm doing it right now. You're just not seeing me buy something, right? And thank you, Sean, for subscribing. Really do appreciate it, buddy. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone who is liking out there. Remember, the more likes you give to the channel, the more I am able to do closing streams. I still have multiple jobs. I do not like one stream of income. And YouTube was something that I just started about 10 months ago. I think it was like 9 months ago. YouTube's just something I started. Trading is the main way that I make money. But if you went away from the computer, would you touch some grass? Not right now. It's raining outside, and I don't want to get my hands wet because then I have to wash them to pick up my baby girl. If I went away from the computer right now, I would go eat some food. I would have a drink. I would maybe watch a show. Maybe work with the startup company that I work for because I'm the marketer for them. Maybe I would do all of that. And then I would come back in a couple of hours after getting some other work done, after hanging with my family, and then I would say, okay, has it formed? Nope, still hasn't formed. Okay, I'm going to be patient. This is the stock I want to take a trade on. Maybe I look for a different stock. Maybe I do that, right? Usually I have about 3 or 4 that I'm really paying attention to. One of the ones I'm still paying attention to is AMD. This has a high the 3 stocks that have very high implied volatility are AMD, Tesla, and Nvidia. Tesla looks wonky as hell, but look at that. It's creating what? Well, it might be creating some kind of 30-minute divergence up here, but is it above the weekly expected move? Right? I need multiple reasons to take the trade. Let me go click on my other charts here. Tesla, is it above the weekly expected move? No, it's not. No, it is not. So my trade setup wouldn't work. I'm not looking for it. This is not a clear setup on Tesla, so that looks awful. The most clear ones are AMD and Nvidia. AMD, if I go create a 2-hour divergence up towards here, maybe get outside of that weekly expected move, awesome. Then I can take a play. If I don't see that setup, I'll look over at Nvidia. If I see the setup here, okay, I can take a play. Maybe I even go deeper and I look for an hourly because this looks pretty smooth, doesn't it? Looks pretty smooth. But what's happening right now, we're seeing a 15-minute pullback. In retail, just like every time, I'm going to see people come in and be like, Nvidia's dying, Nvidia's awful. And I'll be like, no, it's not. And then people on the internet will just hate on me. And I'll be like, HYG is bouncing. The dollar was going off while the market is down now. The dollar is already down. The orders were placed. So I think by the end of tomorrow, at least, maybe even by the end of today, the SPY does end back above this level where the dollar started to bottom out. I think the SPY ends above 528 if we're really right and they want to do it today. They have a lot to pay for, guys. A lot to pay for. A lot to pay for. Now, what is AMD setting up? Is it setting up any other kind of trade that I can look at? Well, what if it sets up a 15-minute divergence here? What if it sets up a 30-minute divergence here? Then I'd have a reason to take a trade. I can look at this, see a 30-minute divergence, see that bounce, and be fine. Maybe I want to go even tighter. Maybe I want to go 15. Boom, curls down, curls up. There might be a reason because this is a support line. It's not necessarily the weekly expected move. The weekly expected move is lower for AMD. Nvidia, maybe I want to check where its weekly expected move is. There's always some way I can be reading into stocks. AMD inverse head and shoulders. Do you know one of the most probable things to not play out in all of trading? Head and shoulders. It's one of the most obvious signals, right? So everyone wants to pay attention to it. If the head and shoulders is going to set up, it's going to play out, I totally understand. This makes sense. I'm not saying it doesn't make sense for AMD to fall here. I'm just saying you have to be aware if something like this happens. Because if you're going to see the head and shoulders actually play out, say on a 2-hour or something, first of all, that has to go negative, react, and then curl back down. So we need this to go deep, react, and then curl back down. It's going to get a retest most likely, unless that rug's just pulled. So I totally understand. I'm not taking that trade setup. You know what I'm saying, Steve? Especially inverse head and shoulders. Inverse head and shoulders is like one of the most obvious and one of the ones that gets faked out the most. Yes, it will. Nvidia will move maybe even more after the split because it's at a cheaper price. So what could they do with Nvidia after that cheaper price is put in there? Well, if you can get more shares for Nvidia with that, technically you can get that amount of shares right now. So you can see all that manipulation right now. It's just you got to do it before the 10-to-1 split or 1-to-10 split. So if something funky happens afterwards, well, then that makes sense. The price of the stock is cheaper. So this is what we've been talking about pretty much all morning. I kind of expect a pullback at 1,140, not at the weekly expected move. If PCC is low, the spike could go up. Well, the thing is, we know now that the market is rigged, and this is overall a calculation of what retail is doing. Overall, this is what retail is doing. And I would say institutions that are maybe not as rigged, right? So if we know that this calculation is most of the not rigged data, then we would say, how would we read into this? Well, then they want to take money away from these people. That's why when this started to go up, I said, most likely either they just pump it really fast and then sell it, but they don't want you to make money. So what they're going to do is sell off the market until you're convinced it can't go back up, and then it's going to go back up. So once puts are cheap, I think that the market starts to bounce. Unless the AMC and GME thing is unraveling, which I need to check on that for a sec. It's not really unraveling. Not really unraveling. So 15-minute pullback possible, and then I think by end of day, we start to see an upward move. The only thing you need to read into is if PCC is very, very low, then puts are cheap. That's how you can read into the rigged market. If PCC is very, very high, then calls are cheap. I'm up 300% on my SPY 0 DTE puts. Holy shit. Yeah. So I would really see if this 5-minute curls up, that daily expected move, okay? This is why the daily expected moves are so useful and why they're so useful for the individual stocks. It'll tell you for today if you're doing 0 DTE, which I do not do, but it'll tell you for today, this is as far down as the SPY is expected to go. So where would people start to be like, oh, something unexpected is happening, I need to go short? It'd be down here. And then that's right when the algorithm that the market makers have made starts to go, oh, calls are cheap. Boom. Nvidia is one to be a little bit more fearful of. This is the most manipulated one. So I get the fear. I get the hard time holding and hard time whatever. I get it. And so if you want to be risk managed, my strategies teach you how to get out and how to get back in. Right? How to get out, how to get back in. Yeah, reverse splits sometimes end up bad because the price of the stock gets more expensive. What's the settings on this MACD? 9 smoothing, 2612, and source at the close. I'm very open with all of my stuff. I want everyone to be able to learn. YS, hello, my friend. Oh, I need to drink some coffee. God dang it. I always let I drink like half and then my coffee gets cold. Damn it. I'm always chit-chatting. Yeah, it's a glitch, Tiger. It's a glitch. The only way that Berkshire Hathaway would be 90% down is their top 3 holdings, meaning their number 1 holding would have to be down 99%. That would be Apple. What's going on with this glitch? I can't trade. I told you the market's rigged, and we're going to see more funky things happen. It's a loop. It's called a negative loop in psychology. If you are sad and all you think about is how you're sad, then most of your life will start becoming sadder. If we're rigged and we're really rigged, then more stuff will start to become rigged as long as we remain in that loop. That's why we're seeing rigged things everywhere. AMC, no movement at all. There you go. There's a little bit of movement there. I still think 15-minute pullback looks likely. They want people to give up on it. You're smarter than that. You're smarter than that. You know when to get in, when to get out. If you've been following this channel for a long time, you know when momentum is shifting down. You know when momentum is shifting back up. And what do we have to see in order to see upward price action? We need momentum shifting back up. Right now, it hasn't even crossed down on the 15-minute. I'm still thinking this goes all the way down to 437, maybe even before the end of the day, and then everyone gets, then the market moves higher, everyone gets calls maybe at the end of the day, and boom, rug pull. Now you'll see this, look, PCC starting to tick up. XLU still ticking down. So no real hint there just yet. This might not be a bottom yet. They want people to be convinced. Look at that, dollar going down while the market goes down. More buying from the insiders. Why not sell out of the money covered calls on AMC? You can. You can. Just know that if you sell a, say, $10 out of the money call as a covered call, then you're going to have to sell that for $10. Like you're going to have to sell that value. So you won't make any of the money off of AMC if you do that. I'm an original owner. I've never seen Fidelity do this. Yeah, it could be anywhere. We don't know how deep this goes. We know that it's there. We don't know how deep it goes. I like it, the stock professor. I think it's a little bit maybe safer. Now, do you have the, you just have the shares? You just have the shares? Because see, this is a smarter way to do it. It's a less risky way to do it. I like this. Yeah, so Mike, I'm trying to teach you how to actually see those signals to do that in real life. But doing what you're doing, Mike, paper trading is very, very good. Very, very good. Paper trading is a very good practice, and if you do that after taking my course, if you just do that for like a month or two and you start to get good at it, then you want to do it with a low amount of money, right? We say use a low amount of money at the start because you need to go through the emotion. Right now, Mike, you have no emotion in that trade. No emotion in that trade, right? It just gets adjusted. One key rep. It just gets adjusted. If they wouldn't adjust it, then that would be scary, but I'm pretty sure it just gets adjusted. So if you have a $1,000 call, it will get adjusted to a $100 call. It would be, you'd probably get more contracts or something like that. So if you have, technically it's the right to buy 100 shares. So then it would say, okay, now that's going to turn into the right to buy 1,000 shares. That's how I would look into it. I don't play around with splits though. I don't trust them. Especially reverse splits, man. I don't trust those at all. All right, now we're starting to see a bounce. Was the PCC able to go up enough? Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if that's high enough. I don't think that calls are that cheap, or I don't think that calls are, I don't think that puts are cheap enough. No, what am I saying? God damn it. See, it's so hard to keep this straight. Calls. I don't think calls are cheap enough for them to buy calls. That's what it is. I don't think calls are cheap enough for them to buy calls yet. Now, there could be some kind of bounce that gets us a little bit more to the call side. Maybe we get some kind of 5-minute divergence right at that daily expected move and then it's ripped away. Right? A lot can happen. That's why we want to stay risk managed. Reverse split is where instead of like Nvidia is going 1 to 10. So if you have 1 share of Nvidia, it's going, you'll get 10 shares of Nvidia at the cheaper price. If it's a reverse split, it goes from I have 10 shares of Nvidia. It goes down to 1 share. Did I have it backwards, Laws? Did I just say it backwards? I don't mess with splits. Sorry, yeah, you're right. Reverse split is the 1 to 10. God damn it. Because a split would be, they're splitting it in half. Yes, Laws. Laws is explaining it well. Yeah, it's not free money. No, because the price gets adjusted. So if you have $1,000 and you buy 1 share, 1 stock, 1 share, well, then you'll have 10 shares at $100, which equals $1,000 value, Alex. But usually a reverse split can see more positivity than a split. Oh, wait. God damn it. I don't know, guys. I'm going to stop talking about splits because I just don't mess with them. It's another one of my things. Like, I don't trade around splits just because I see it as another rock in the stream. I don't need to pay attention to it. Now, Nvidia, I might take like 1 contract on that just to show you how to trade it. I'm not worried if that split affects anything. Trying to stay above $1. Let's check the Dow. Dow curled down on the 5-minute. Did it curl over on the 15? Not yet, but it's going into a source of liquidity here. We'll have to see what happens with that. The SPY going into a source of liquidity here. We'll have to see what happens with that. This might be all we get for the pullback. Maybe that's all they needed. Maybe they're already in the calls. Maybe they're the ones that shot up the call side. We'll have to see. I heard, there's something with Fidelity that was like tied into Citadel, maybe. I'll have to look into it, but for the most part, you just need to know we're going to see a lot of wonky stuff throughout the day, okay? So we have to be on our toes. But I'm going to stream for about 30 more minutes. I am going to have a closing stream, okay? So turn your notifications on, and we will be live here for another 30 minutes or so, and then I'm going to grab lunch with my girls. But after that, I'll be live again this afternoon so we can watch the close. Maybe we can see what develops. Yes, Fidelity sends their order flow to Citadel for free. There you go. So that's why you're going to see Fidelity fucked up. How does Microsoft look? Microsoft most likely pulling back as well. We'll see. Microsoft has a great shot at creating the divergence still. It's very close to the center line here. It would be a great divergence, though, for a double bottom or some kind of divergence down here. Even I'd think about a short-term play there if I saw that. I'd need to see if weekly expected moves come into play, though. Let me go look. Yeah, weekly expected move can come into play for Microsoft. So there still could be trade setups either way. Like, this is what we learn, right? If this does this and goes like that, and I see down, and then I see up, and I see up, this could be some kind of solid bounce. Now, it's on a 15-minute chart. I usually like it to be on my 30-minute chart. Would it be there? Yes, it would. Okay, so it would form on the 30-minute chart as well. I really like my 30-minute charts, my 2-hour charts, and my daily charts, guys. I've done it for a long time now. .77, starting to creep up. They're just making retail hesitate. Probably making retail sell. That might make the dollar go up. See, the dollar's heading even more down. It's just, I think they're buying here. We already know they bought. It's just, are they buying here, or is that because of retail selling off? They can't affect that. Remember, guys, that course is on sale for just a few more. Well, it's going to be probably on sale for the whole month of June. It says until Friday. I would highly encourage you get it as soon as possible. You see how hard this market is to trade in. That's why I'm going live a lot more. But yeah, Wall Street Ponzi. Sub to notifications on. Thank you for subscribing, Wall Street Ponzi. That's funny. Hopefully you're not a real Ponzi. Hopefully you're not trying to get us in this scam market. No. Media saying after a split, Nvidia will likely go into Dow and Intel coming out. Wow. What's in the course? Everything that we talk about live, just like very precise. So through these, I go very, very quickly. In the course, we break it down like step by step. We show you pretty much like where I take plays that are very safe. We show you how to manage your trade, which we haven't really shown too much of how to exactly manage the trade like we do on Patreon. Managing the trade is very important. We talk about the importance of patience and mentality and all those kinds of things as well. I'm thinking of adding a little crypto section to the course as well. Just a little one to show you how you can use these strategies in crypto. Grab the course, guys. It's solid. Yeah. And if you've been here for a while, you're going to understand the course better than someone who hasn't been here a while because you've been listening to what I'm saying all the time, right? But it will give you maybe some clarity. If you're still unclear, it will make it very clear. And maybe it'll just make you say, okay, what I was thinking was correct. So the course doesn't include Discord. The Patreon is a separate thing. And I don't have a Discord. It's Patreon. And it's just $7 a month USD. And it pretty much gives you trade setups. I put out a video a week now that I have my new office almost set up. My desk gets here supposedly tomorrow. God, this desk has been a pain in my ass. But yeah, it gets you some trade setups. The last trade setup that we gave, the solid picture trade setup, we talked about stocks, was this one right here. It played out very, very well for IWM. 1-2 ABC move. Talked about how to risk manage here. Almost 200 likes. That's what we like to see. Yeah, Discord, you guys, I wish I had enough time for Discord. I've just never managed a Discord before, so I'd kind of be going into it blind. And I can't be that. I have a lot of other duties. I'm a new dad. But Patreon, I can update very quickly. I can post a trade setup. You see the setup. If you like the setup, then there you go. The link for both the course and the Patreon are in the description. Sometimes the Patreon link shows up as like words or like some kind of box. You just want to click that. I'm also going to add to where you can just type hashtag course or hashtag Patreon. I think I can do that on YouTube. I used to do that on Twitch. I'm not on Twitch anymore though. Discord gets annoying. Yeah, it's kind of spammy. We do have a chat section, by the way, in Patreon if you guys want to chat together. I don't get in there too often unless I say like, oh, the updated ranges are out or something like that. But there's a chat section in Patreon where you guys can talk back and forth, talk about setups. It's just I don't have time, guys. I wish I had time to do more in there, but I'm already going live for almost 4 to 6 hours a day now. And I still work for the startup. I still have to do my own trading. And you guys know last week, I could have traded a lot more, and I decided to mainly dedicate my time to the live videos. So I do appreciate everyone who donated last week because my trading was, yeah, it was profitable, but it just wasn't to my normal profitability. Yeah, one key rep. Thank you for joining. I really appreciate it. We're still going to watch this stuff for a little bit longer. We're noticing IWM seeing a slight bounce here. Maybe that's showing some proof there in AMC and GME. Just remember, if this starts to curl up, that's what we're paying attention to. XLU, HYG, Nvidia, we're seeing if all these things can start to just curl back up. Curl back up. PCC going up to 0.78. So yeah, calls are getting a little bit more cheap because people are starting to buy puts. Wish you all green days. I'm not going to trade for 60 days. You guys have fun. Good luck. This is just so damn rigged. Exactly. Yeah. And the thing you're kind of hoping out of all this AMC and GME stuff is the market becomes less rigged. So if the market becomes less rigged, our job gets a lot easier as traders. And you can still use my strategies if you have a full-time job or something like that. You just want to use bigger time frames. We mention that pretty often live. We say, or in our videos on YouTube as well. I mentioned it in the last video. I just said, if you're someone who doesn't have a lot of time to stare at these markets, it's very hard to manage a trade. You mainly just want to maybe do daily signals. And you can make plenty of money. Yeah, he has an Anthony. Good try. So what I'm trying to accomplish here, if I can pretty much get to about, I think I calculated once I get to about 10,000 subs, it will make as much as YouTube should make as much as my my marketing job with the startup, and I can just tell those guys bye-bye. I just recently became profitable. Nice job, Mohammed. Yeah, they've been having technical issues all morning, and that's where we said it's always just it's a rigged game. More and more random stuff started happening. Banks are blowing up out of nowhere, literally blowing up out of nowhere. It's like, and then you're going to see an article that comes out and says they, for some reason, moved all of their files and data into that building just a week before. All of it'll make sense. Just like how COVID's coming out, and they said Fauci is not the guy who funded the research, and America didn't fund the research for, and everyone got for COVID, and everyone got called crazy. And then what do we know now? It was all done by Fauci. It's the same thing everywhere. We're going to see rigged stuff everywhere, not just in the stock market, but mostly it'll be visible in the stock market. My opinion. Yeah, so RSI, divergence on RSI MACD when they're at the same time is one of my favorite ones. I've traded for a long time, and this is the thing that I found has been the most beneficial for me, and I wanted to share that with everyone. So I wanted to teach everyone else how to do it because I'm kind of sick of retail losing. I think that we are plenty smart, and the game is rigged. You're not as dumb as they think you are. They think that you're stupid, but think about it. The way that I said it, I think a little bit ago, was pretty much you're trying to play a chess game, but one guy has 4 queens. It's like, of course you're going to lose that game. If they really thought you were stupid, they would beat you at their own at chess, right? They would beat you at the chess game with the same amount of playing, right? The same board. But they can't do it, so they rig the market to make more and more money. I think retail is actually smarter than we think. If people are able to understand the short seller problem, then retail is way smarter than we think. How's Bitcoin holding up, by the way? Ooh, little drop off. We expect the drop off. Little pullback divergence here on the RSI. We see that. 15-minute, though. Don't really like 15 minutes. 2-hour pullback could still be coming. We could see a further pullback in the SPY. If this 15-minute can curl down, then you'd be convinced. Maybe we see that 5-minute divergence up towards the daily expected move upside. But yeah, Alex, it's one of my favorite things. It requires a lot of patience, Alex. That's one key thing to my strategies is patience. I'll talk about patience a lot. That's why even me right now, I'm like, I don't even need to stay live and watch this all day. I can go have lunch and enjoy my life for a little bit, right? I think enjoying your life is the most important thing. Spending time with friends and family, enjoying everything. Once my baby girl grows up a little bit more, I won't have to hear screaming, and I'll enjoy it even more. But I think you got a good shot. Maybe a 5-minute divergence here. See how right away I'm like, okay, how could they trick me here? Well, 5-minute divergence. If it's going to go down right away, then I know this 15 is going to curl. Notice that hasn't crossed. Awesome. Has the Qs. No, it hasn't. So what could they do if they wanted to really rip you around? Well, they could do these little 5-minute moves, right? Boom, boom, boom. Then you see the weakness. Then they drop it the next day. Then it goes up later on. What's grass? All right, let's go over to the meme stocks for a little bit. Well, quote unquote meme stocks. So what do we see now? We're seeing this start to push back up. Okay. 5-minute has to cross up though. 5-minute has to cross up though. This is where momentum will tell you about the next thing happening. We talked about this in Lucy. Every single time the 5-minute curled up, it saw a big, massive move. Okay, big, massive move. They want to force it down to probably buy that. I think they know they can't handle the problem at this point. They want to buy the stock at lower prices. But until Nvidia rips away, we know most likely GME and AMC aren't at their top. Because the only thing I know how to do is lose, but I need to make sure we don't lose together. Yeah, Not every play works out, guys. Not every play works out. You still have to manage the trade. Even in this IWM trade that I posted, I showed you I was managing the trade, right? I showed you I was out right around this level. I was out around this level, and I think the market's rigged. And the next time you get in, look at that. We get a divergence right here, so you know there's weakness now. This tells you definitely start to get out once that crosses over. Crosses back up. Okay, we can see a positive move. We didn't dip down far enough. Boom, we see a big positive move. You're risk managed throughout the whole trade if you're doing just a 30-minute signal. That's why not everyone can be good at this, and that's why I say if you need to, if you're not as good at trading the shorter time frames, trade the bigger ones. They act exactly the same. You just see less crazy stuff. If you trade the bigger ones, you might be more profitable than someone who can't take profit correctly. And my buddy wants to call me in a sec. Dell? Oh yeah, let's see how Dell has developed. This is going to be maybe 15-minute divergence. It is pretty good divergence right here. So now you have the chance for a bigger bounce. If that can go positive, that's a key thing. But solid divergence on the 15-minute. It's a 15-minute chart, though. So you have to be very cautious with it. Now, why do you have to be very cautious? Well, if this 5-minute just rolls up, goes positive for a sec, rolls right back down, you can't say that's going to head up any higher, right? The charts are not telling you that. Always think of what the charts are telling you, and that's what you react. That's the best thing I can say. Like, right? The chart right here is saying, hey, the 15-minute hasn't crossed over. So if I'm doing a 30-minute play or something like that, then I'm still technically going to hold. But if that curls over, then you want to be like, okay, now I'm done. Now I'm out. Most likely, if you get this overbought, you're going to take at least one contract of profit, right? No divergence on IWM. Qs haven't curled over yet. Lucy was pretty negative. There you go. So if this crosses back up, you can be a contrarian, right? And say this is a contrarian signal to head up. If that goes positive, you can feel good. Most of the time, it looks like it rips by about 50%. But now you're starting to see some stuff here, right? Let's just do that. We're just going to make it kind of sloppy. Let's do this. Okay. Awesome. So if this does this, crosses up, breaks out, maybe I want to see if my 2 hour is able to curl up. Right? This 2 hour was negative. Oh, I thought it was negative on Lucy. Damn it. Which one did I look at that was negative? So then you would say that's a very early signal that we could see a bounce. Okay, if that goes positive, it could curl up the hourly, which means you could see a few hours of positivity. That would be very good. You just manage the trade. This thing could move right back up to 140 if this hourly crosses up. It can move right back up there. As long as no manipulation happens. You have to know that everything you're trading is manipulated, everything in different ways, though. This is going to be more manipulated. AMC and GME are going to be very manipulated. Nvidia is going to be very manipulated. And then you have to say, well, AMD might be a little bit less, but if I see a trade setup, that just means higher likelihood to play out a little bit better. That's why I'm going to try to take a trade on Nvidia, but I think that'll take maybe all day to set up. Still no puts really coming in. So 15-minute hasn't crossed yet. Let's see, are they creating like a 5-minute divergence down here? No, 5-minute. So there's a few options here. If they go like drop, bounce by end of day, and then everyone's trapped to the downside with all those puts, that would be interesting. That'd be very interesting. Yeah, be patient with it. Frozen on E-Trade now. They're going to freeze it everywhere. Let's go see if there were any more rigged moves here. No big gaps. No big gaps. Just the initial one. Just this one. That's a rigged move. GBR. R. Whoa. Positive move. So you see how Lucy is similar to like something like this a little bit. You see that hourly or 2 hour curl up. Good sign. 15-minute gets you in, or 30-minute gets you in a little bit earlier. And then boom, you have to just manage the trade for a second, but you will be in the big move if you're managing the trade. Why stop trading on GME and AMC? Because big people who are richer than you, who have more power than you, are losing money. And they want you guys to lose money. They want the poor to get poorer and the middle class to get poorer. And they want the richest people to get richer. What does that mean when it's above the week? You're experiencing a crazier time, right? You're experiencing a 32% chance of something crazy happening. So that's why on Patreon, we posted the weekly expected move for GME, AMC. And we said, you know, if it's going to see a squeeze, it will happen outside of the weekly expected move. And what did GME do? Well, it's trying to hold up around that weekly expected move right now, which is a pretty good sign. But if it starts to lose it, then you can see that really tear down, okay? But we just want to see if that 15 minutes able to roll back up. Right here, it pretty much tested the weekly expected move, top side right there. You're welcome, Mark. How do we stop what? Oh, when it's not. Okay, what does it mean when it's not above the weekly expected moves? That means you're experiencing what the options market expected. Inside those ranges is what the market expects. So the Qs are a good example, right? So the Qs, this was unexpected. So this means people could take profit, and now you're back into where it is expected, right? So this is pretty much where the market makers have priced in the stock to go. And that's where it's expected to be by the end of the day, by the close. And the purple lines are for the weekly, and the yellow lines are for the monthly. So by monthly close, this is where they expect it to land. By weekly close, this is where they expect it to land. Is there a video on weekly expected moves? I keep hearing that. So I talk about them throughout the videos. They're very useful. It's one of the most useful tools in all of trading. I will tell you that right now. Something that can give you a straightforward probability, and it's what the options market, which is the market makers, are pricing in for the stock. It's a very useful tool, Stitch. Also, I have a Stitch tattoo on my arm. I'll show it to you. I'm going to get my camera back up this week. Normally, you guys get to see my face, and I'm sad that you guys haven't been able to, but maybe you guys like it better without seeing my beautiful face. But I do have a Stitch tattoo. I'll show it to you. Yeah, weekly expected moves are just what the option market expects. So this is a 68% zone, right? These purple lines. So as of today, we'll do the dailies, are the red lines. This is a 68% chance to land in here. This is what the market makers have priced in. This is what the market expects the Qs to do here, is land in this zone. And we give these away on Patreon for $7 a month. So what it means when you get outside of it is you're experiencing a 32% chance, but this is a 32% chance to close outside. So if you do it early on in the day, you have a lot of time to go back into this range. And that's the kind of trade setups we're looking for, when the probabilities are more with us. When we're up here, the probabilities are with us to see a drop. When we're down here, the probabilities are with us to see a pop. Now, crazy stuff can happen outside of these ranges, so you have to be a little careful. You have to look for weakness, and that's what we teach you how to do in the course. Yeah, the course is actually on sale for just $100. It's like, I think the head guy who used to work for a hedge fund, that's like my dad's friend. He has like a ton of Nvidia stock. He said that the value of my course is probably worth somewhere between $1,400 and $2,000 easily. But I want to make it available for all traders. I do well with trading. I have another job. I'm trying to turn YouTube into the other job. And if I'm able to turn YouTube into money making with the advertisements, then I can still leave it for like $100, $200 so that anyone can learn how to trade. I want retail to be able to learn this stuff because it's really helped me. Oh shoot, who just said something about a Head and Shoulders? What you're probably paying attention to, GG, is like maybe some short-term support resistance levels on short time frames. I do not day trade. Day trading, I say this all the time. I think it is a very good thing for 313 people to hear, because everyone tells you you can get rich day trading. You can, but just know that you have a 95% chance to lose money every single day. Only 5% of day traders make money every single day. So what I want to teach people is put yourself in a higher probability to make money the slow way. If you're day trading, you're trying to make money the fast way, in my opinion. And if you're trying to make money the slow way day trading, well, it's just like there's just a lot of risk. So my strategies have a higher probability to make you successful than a day trader. You have to have patience. But if you have patience, you most likely will see 1. And if volatility is higher, you'll see 1 to 4 trade setups a week, and they will play out quickly. And sometimes you will sell the same day. Sometimes you will. Sometimes you will. But most of the time, you're going to be holding for a couple of days. You have to scale in. You have to manage your trade. There's a lot more work that goes into it. But if you can figure it out, you can be really successful. And I think you guys are smarter than what you give your guys. What's the difference between final and ISM manufacturing? I believe that the final is a global reading. ISM manufacturing is just a United States reading. I do swing trade. Swing trading is great, by the way. Swing trading is great. That's how I was when I first started years ago. Years ago, I was just a swing trader. Actually, years ago as a fundamental trader, that was fucking horrible. That was like 11 years ago now. So now I do not do that. I got mad at the market, went away, came back, and I said technical analysis is what I'm going to learn, and I got obsessed with it. I loved it. I absolutely love technical analysis. My family thinks I'm a nerd, and they hate me talking about it all the time. So the point is just put yourself in a high probability to make money every single step of the way. Look at the risk to reward. And then let that leak into the rest of your life. Risk to reward, risk to reward. I could have, last week I told you guys, I made one of the biggest calls I've ever made. My YouTube channel grew by a significant amount last week. Last week I was supposed to go to Denver for a bachelor party. I wasted $400. My risk was I don't get to do YouTube. My reward was I get to get drunk at a bachelor party. I said, no, I'm going to hang out with you guys. I think something could be bad. So what was the risk to reward made sense for me, and it played out. All right, guys. Well, let's just really pay attention here. I'm just going to do the SPY, and then I'm going to go to lunch. Since I'm going to be live later, we're not going to do like a full breakdown right now. We're not going to do a full breakdown. Is it set timing during a live trade session or over Zoom or that kind of thing? No, it's just videos that I've created telling you how to utilize my strategy, and I go through charts with you and show you exactly how it works. I teach you exactly what the weekly ranges are and why they're important and how you can use them. And then I give you a trading strategy that I personally use. And you can use it anytime. We talk about when the best time to use it is, but you can use all the information you learn in the course if you're able to understand the information in the course, you're going to be able to swing trade. You're going to figure it out very quickly. Now, we might make a section for swing trading. That way you just know what it is, right? Being blunt and knowing what it is. I show you how to buy. I use my fun account on Robinhood. Oh, God. I use my fun account on Robinhood to show you how to buy stuff because a lot of people still use Robinhood. And then I use my fun account on Robinhood to show you how to make your own weekly ranges, not having to do some calculation, right? I do the actual calculation to make mine. But if you just go on Robinhood and click a few buttons, you can make your own weekly range for any stock. Because I can't cover every stock. There's so many stocks. I can't cover every single one. I can't make a weekly range for every single one. That would take me forever. And people have said, oh, well, Thinkorswim has it. And my own chat has said, I've done Thinkorswim weekly ranges. They are not as good as Lucas's. That's awesome. So you learn a lot. Final manufacturing PMI is bearish. Okay, so this right here at 51 is bearish. But the most important number was bullish. The better way to think about it, because bullish, bearish, this number was meaning inflation could continue. The next number was saying inflation could go down. Okay, could go down, and then employment went up. That means inflation can continue, but construction spending went down. Okay, the most important though is the PMI, and that was down, and you're seeing that reaction right here in the yields. The yields are down. That's because the PMI was down. Does that help? Holy moly, Dixie. Wow, it's almost like someone is buying here. Remember, the dollar already made the move down, so this little tick up, yeah, that can make the dollar go down more, but that's most likely retail selling at that point. The dollar started to head down up in these areas. That tells you, oh, the insiders might buy here. Now we're seeing a dip down. It might even dip lower. We'll pay attention to it. I think they're just waiting to see how they can get this number to get right back up to 0.956, just like last time. This is how we pointed out. We almost caught it to the second, because right when that crossed, I said, this is where calls become cheap and we're going to see a massive run. And then what happened? Literally like 15 minutes later, the SPY saw this massive run. And if you want to see how we found this, there's a video that I put out Saturday of just a few days ago telling you how we could do it. I made it the only YouTube channel that called bear trap, or that said bear trap. That's probably not true, but I got so much hate on the internet that I assume that is true. So we're going to see a continued rigged move. This can move outside of this range, but just know it's not the end of the day. You have a 68% chance to close up in this area. So we could be seeing something funky happen. Now, this is a channel I want to teach you being adaptable as a trader. This is why if you're not going to be good at the shorter time frames, you can still do all this stuff on higher time frames, work a job. You could even just say, I'm only going to buy when there is a divergence on the weekly scale. That's awesome. That means you buy and then you can hold for months, and then you look for weakness to the upside and you go, okay, now I sell. That's all. Like this, it's not about can the course make you $100,000 a month. It's can the course make you like 10% a year even. 10% a year is great. If you could grow your money by 10% a year for multiple years, it would be awesome. But it teaches you how to do the shorter time frames in case you're able to do it, right? We teach it on the shorter time frames and on the daily scale. Someone is buying puts, therefore the dollar should go down. So the dollar was already down before this push, which means that the insiders bought, and then we noticed they were trying to move it sideways, but we noticed that the call ratio went way down. So a bunch of retail bought calls based on the data, is my opinion. Now the puts are starting to trickle up because retail's most likely getting antsy. They're like, oh shoot, the stocks are coming down. It could crash. And then once calls are really cheap, so the fact that the dollar was going down here says insiders were buying. Now the market maker is saying, yeah, insiders are buying, but calls are too expensive. So they want to push it down, make PCC go up. And then once PCC is up high enough, then calls become cheaper. And then the market maker will rip it away, most likely. Now, we have to take that with a grain of salt, because if the AMC and GME stuff starts happening, then that could also be a reason that the dollar is going down, if they're having to buy back into AMC and GME. All right, guys, it's 10:43. I went over a little bit longer than I wanted to. I wanted to hop off at 10:30. I'm going to go grab lunch with my girls. I will be back this afternoon. So if you are not subscribed, if you have not hit that post notifications, right, hit that notification bell, guys. It will notify you that I'm going live in the afternoon. I'm going to go live for maybe the last hour and a half, maybe watch the post market for just a little bit. But thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you for liking, subscribing. You guys are fantastic. If you need to learn anything about this stuff, and I'm going to leave the chat open for a minute. If you have questions about the course, please, people who have already taken the course, if someone has a question, try to answer it the best you can while I'm gone. I'm just going to leave it open for just another 20 minutes here or so, and then I'll be back later this afternoon after it closes down, so turn those notifications on. Thank you guys so much. Really appreciate it. Trade like water out there. Best advice I can ever give is trade like water. The easiest way to trade like water is to manage that risk. Manage that risk. Say it to yourself out loud right now. I am going to manage my risk this week. I know that this market is rigged. Therefore, I have to manage my risk. Boom. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll see you guys later this afternoon live for our closing stream. Peace out. Thank you for subscribing. Okay, now peace out.